Welcome to Dungeons and Gamers, a one-shot adventure starring these amazing adventures, including Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing a tiefling sorcerer named Morthos Volkith. I have a bit of a shady past, and I'm pretty cagey when I meet new people, but I'm also pretty headstrong about my decision-making.
And Teddy Chinaris.
Hi, I'm Teddy Chinaris from twitch.tv/Teddy Chinaris. I'm playing it's a half-elf paladin. His name is Rokuzin. He's like, we're at a little festival. I was like born and grew up around the area. And, I'm chilling, having some fun. That's where we're at.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I am playing Cookie Kebler, a Kebler elf, visiting this midsummer festival to discover new and exotic ingredients for the corporateness. She is a bard wood elf.
And Beckers.
Hey, I'm Beckers, and I'm a bear.
I was really expecting a roar there.
And I'm playing the half-orc Fergus Bog. He's the prince of the kingdom of Faraway, and he's the greatest character in all the land. And in charge of this entire universe and land, it is our dungeon mistress, Katie Quixotic.
Hi, I'm Katie Quixotic, and you can find me everywhere as Katie Quixotic, and I do all kinds of stuff. But I'm just the DM right now. So, last session, you arrived at the village of Tanapa. You were there, some for the festival, some happened to be passing through, and the festival was sort of like an opportunistic thing. But for whatever reasons, you arrived here and you participated in some carnival games. You won some and you lost some. Some people tried to give things to small children. It was a little bit of an awkward exchange. Whatever.
We will name no names.
We will name no names. None at all. Absolutely none. So, Cookie found an interesting ingredient to take home. So, there were a lot of milestones achieved in different stages in people's lives. Also, there was a well that did some weird magic stuff, but also was kind of remotely attached to Timora, and she's a goddess of fortune and boons. So that's why she has a temple called Fortune Boon Hall. And after figuring out that that was all that the well was, and that it wasn't, in fact, the plot hook, they continued on with the evening.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The adventure's not in the well, people.
They continued on for the rest of the evening. There were some dancers, there was a fire breather, some pyrotechnics that went on, and towards the end of the pyrotechnic show, there was some sort of celestial activity that resulted in a great burst of light that lit up a large swath of the sky and caused alarm to some people, at which point somebody began shouting about a prophecy, and there was murmuring in the crowd about the man who was shouting about the prophecy. So that's where we left off. It's late into not late at night, but it's late into the evening. The sun is set. It is dark out. There are torch lights that were already existing around as the day started to progress and lights were lit for the evening. Many of them had been dimmed in light of the light show that was going on to prevent the light pollution from dampening the show. But there are still some, so you're not completely in just moonlit darkness right now. But everything's kind of difficult to see, and there's just this moderate illumination over the faces of all the crowd as there's this panic whispering going on behind you, and you still hear somebody shouting off in the distance, not terribly far away, but somewhere within the crowd, the voice of a man that keeps saying, "The prophecy I told you all. The prophecy, a warrior woman bathes in light. This is it. This is clearly what I came here for. And you all said I was crazy. Now, if anyone will come help me save the world from ending, all I need are a couple of strong backs." And he's continuing to yell about needing people who are willing to be brave and undertake this quest. And he told them all they would see in the end. And you start to hear around you just like general murmuring, and you can pick up how a couple of the people at the festival who seem to kind of be like from the town are talking about how like, oh, that's the one that was here last week, and he kept going on about something. Maybe there was something to what he was saying, and we all just thought that he was out of his mind, but oof, who knows? There's like just a general panic, but like confusion, like this is a world full of magic and interesting things happen all the time, but it's not like a dragon just burst out of the sky and started killing everyone. Like the night seems pretty calm, other than this glow and the sort of like explosion or whatever it was that's starting to fade at this point. So it's not like there's like a panic stampede of people, but there are like frightened children and babies crying and just like a general unease on the crowd. And where the show either was supposed to end and the festival was supposed to close for the day, or there should have been something to wrap this up at the end, like nothing is happening. It's just the crowd is just kind of being left to their own devices at the moment, it seems. And there's just general chatter.
Fergus looks up at the sky at what remains of the light show that happened, and then he kind of like slaps Morthos on the back and goes, huh, their lights are a lot better than yours.
God, what a callback. What a fucking callback. It was brilliant.
I've been thinking of this for like at least a week.
Why can't you do a light show like that?
Morthos exhaustedly looks at Fergus and says, "Can you please be a little gentler next time?"
Okay, Sparkles. What was that guy going on about?
That's probably nothing important.
Can the bear
I'll
talk?
just go do something else. No, this is out of character.
Oh, okay.
If the bear is just talking and not sounds, it's probably a host.
We should definitely not investigate that.
Yeah, okay, let's just go find more fountains.
Crazy.
Let's go look at more
Let's go
fountains.
home.
I see you have played D&D before.
No, Rokuzin definitely wants to go talk with this dude and find out what's going on,
Yeah, you grew up in this area, and this does not seem like anyone who's familiar to you. Not that you know every single person, but you don't remember hearing any like rumors about somebody coming to town and like regularly to talk about prophecies or anything like that. So
Seems out of the ordinary.
Yeah, for sure. So you're going over to try to find the man in the crowd?
Yeah. I mean, we're all together as a group.
I mean, I don't think Fergus thinks that Fergus probably thinks that this dude's a little bit crazy and probably doesn't take it that seriously. So you might wander off. I don't think he's in that big of a hurry about it.
Well, I'm gonna at least tell you guys, hey, I'm gonna go see what's going on. If you guys want to join me, that's cool. But I'm gonna go talk with this guy.
Okay, you do that, shiny man.
Okay, have fun.
So he starts to turn to leave, and the man is still shouting, and he starts talking about, saving the world, and where's your adventurous spirit? These parts used to be teeming with adventurers. All sorts of brave people were born here. There are legends about them, and none amongst you. And he's just going on and on.
Excuse me, what's up? What's up, man? I hear you talking about adventures and shit, and like I'm down for it. I mean, I need some money. What's up? Like, let's do this thing.
How much cash you got?
How much cash you got on you right now?
Right. How old would you say?
Actually, just pull that sword, hand me your money. No, I'm just kidding. But I wouldn't actually do that. But
and this is when we find out he's a paladin of Bashaba.
But no.
Yeah. How old would you say your character is?
Oh God, let's say like 30.
Okay, that's fine.
30. Let's go with that.
So you approach as you're waiting through the crowd. People kind of move out of the way for you naturally because you have like an opposing presence just by virtue of the fact that you have armor and weapon, and these are a bunch of peasants and their children. So they all just kind of like part the way as you skirt through them, and you get closer, and what you see is probably he's like a human male. He is weathered, like the sort of like rough skin that you get when you spend a lot of time out in the sun. There are a couple of like scars on his face, but he's got very like trimmed hair that's really like particularly combed. He's wearing robes. It doesn't look like necessarily like a caster, but they are like road dusty, well traveled. He seems to like he moves around. He's not used to, he's not unaccustomed to travel life on the road. Is what you can like just surmise at a glance. This isn't like someone who's like clean and proper, but they're still well presented. And as you get closer, you see that he's got like a satchel down on the ground, kind of like between his feet, and he's got a backpack on, and there are like map cases sticking out the back and odd bits of paper that are rolled up also, just kind of like askew sticking out the back of his pack. And then in the sort of satchel in the ground, it's clearly a cloth satchel, but it's very distinctly square shaped. And in the dim light, it's difficult to see, but like roughly the size of what would be books appear to be inside, or maybe like a small chest, something square that's causing this cloth satchel to take on like a square shape like that. And excuse me, sir, sort of thing. And he turns around and looks at you suddenly like he's almost surprised. Ah, fighter? Or are you a man of faith?
More of a fighter. Let's go with that.
You here to save the day?
Possibly. What do you know about the situation? Like what's happening?
I came to town a week ago. No one here listened. I told them this was going to happen. There was going to be an event. I charted the stars. I read them for weeks. It pointed to this location. There's a history of this going on here. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. You weren't here a week ago. There's a prophecy. I am something of a scholar. And he like gestures down to like the books at his feet and back to like the paper and map cases and stuff sticking out of his backpack, rucksack sort of thing. I've spent my life reading through prophecies, little ones that have gone unnoticed by more important people. I try to find out where they came from, what they might relate to, track down anything I can to see them fulfilled, watch them unfold, stop them when they're bad. It's been an interesting road, and people often don't believe you. So it's nice to see that someone finally recognizes this is important work. This area has a history of celestial activity. The gods are always looking at it. Why would there be a temple of Timora in a place like this, out in the middle of nowhere? He seems like he's kind of like a place like this, which you could feel about however you would like, but it is like, hey, I'm from here. Like, all right, man, come on, stop. There's a little bit of like a mild distaste when he says it, like you're out in the middle of nowhere, when it's like not that like much of a wilderness or anything. And he says, years ago, something similar happened, and a large piece of earth and rock fell from the sky. And the people took it, and they were able to remove from the dirt and the rock a stone that was said to be a blessing from the gods themselves. And there was a priestess who said that something about religious significance. The records are a little bit dim, but ultimately what ended up happening was that this ended up being important, and it was taken by these people that lived in the woods, apparently. It's like, I'm kind of piecing together information that I can find. So I'm not exactly clear on who it was that took it, but I know that they're in this area, and I know where I think they are because I have been tracking them. I'm not a fighter, though. I need somebody who can swing a sword to go in and take it.
Okay.
I can pay.
Okay, so I get the basics here, but how do you know it's important? Like, I'm still not sure what exactly, like, what was the light explosion in the sky? According to you and according to your books and your knowledge. Is that just a sign of what's happening, or?
Do you know anything about the constellations in the area?
Not a ton, no.
So he turns your shoulders and he points, and he's like, this one. If you look at these, and he starts like pointing at stars. It's like hard to tell which ones exactly he's pointing out, but he's like describing the way they look vaguely. And he points out a set of stars that form the constellation called the Warrior Woman. And she has a sword that is drawn and it's clashed with a second constellation he points out, which is like a centaur. And he explains like a historical event that... Go ahead and make a history check for me.
7.
Yikers.
Yikers.
Okay. So he starts to tell you a story about how, a couple hundred years ago, there was a woman who was a renowned fighter and a centaur who were having an arm wrestling competition in a local tavern. And when they began, just so happened to coincide with a celestial event that opened a tear in the fabric of like the realms, and the planes were connected in some way, and other creatures started to come through, and they had to continue arm wrestling until people fought back this like incursion, at which point they were able to stop. And the story seems a little silly, and you don't remember hearing about this before, but he says it with such conviction that it's like, it's either a really convincing lie or this is something that actually happened. But it doesn't like, you don't have any recollection of this as being like valid or accurate. It just sounds like a story that somebody's telling.
Yeah.
And he starts to pull out like pieces of paper, and he reaches down into his little like satchel, and he pulls out a book, and he starts flipping up through pages. And there's like a rough drawing of the constellation of the warrior woman that he had pointed out. And part of this is like, there are like 3 different styles of handwriting as he's like flipping through pages that you can recognize. And then there's a 4th one that seems to be his like notes in the margins. And he starts showing you there was a priestess to Selene who claimed to have visions. And she was in the area in one of the neighboring towns. This town is between Tribor and Red Large. She was in Tribor, the larger of the 2 towns. And she had received a vision about the constellation not like coming to life, but that it was lifelike, and that her face was illuminated, and that it was going to bring upon strife that might cause the end of the world. And they had, after they had located this like artifact, they were convinced that it was the key to preventing it, because there was some sort of... It was like heralding the sign of like some sort of like invasion, but it was unclear because she was having a vision. Like she had this feeling that there was like a wave about to wash over the area, and that somehow attuning this to Selene was what was preventing like visitors from somewhere else. And she wasn't clear whether it was another realm or whatever. And he's like reading off these notes to you, and he's like taking out pieces of paper, and it's all like you're standing in this crowd of people, and people are starting to like look over his shoulder and look around you and trying to like figure out what's going on. And he's got like papers, he's holding one up to you, and another one falls, and he's kind of like just jumbling, trying to like, this is all the information I've put together for you. If you are trying to discern whether or not you believe him or he seems like he's off his rocker, then you could make an insight check. But if you are going to just like make the call to like see what he's like offering or decide whether or not you believe him, you don't have to make any rolls. The insight's one of those things that you like choose to do usually.
All right, I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna say if there is possibly like gold in it for me, then like let's go see what this is about. Let's go check this area that he says some people have taken this artifact, and let's go look around. You know, maybe they are out there. He seems genuine, you know.
Is the carnival game still open?
This was like the closing sort of like ceremony for the evening. So you don't know, like you hadn't asked anyone whether or not the games would still be open necessarily, but you do know that this was supposed to be the sort of like grand finale sort of thing. I think
while Roku is talking, this Fergus is off doing the hand axe thing, going like, I'm gonna hit it. Like, come on, one more try. Let me do it.
Oh my God, I love it.
I don't know if someone's there or not, but if they're not, then he's just kind of like shouting, looking for somebody to let him try again.
Go ahead and Okay, so you leave the crowd. Do you tell anyone where you're going? Or
No,
do you
no,
just kind of like turn around and leave?
he's just like bored by like he doesn't think
Okay.
any of this is anything, so he's just like, I'm gonna go back to the carnival.
Okay, so like there's this general crowd around you, and you're easily able to kind of like move your way through it and out. You head across the way the town is set up is they kind of have a lot of the stuff like off to the side, like this sort of entertainment stuff. The games were more towards the front. So you make your way through like a basically empty, like sort of couple of, now I wouldn't call them roads, but they're like lanes that have clearly been devised that intend to separate like structures, like homes and businesses and things. And you make your way out to the area where the carnival games were. And it's like mostly completely empty because even the people who hadn't been at the show, there was like people that had started walking over towards the end. And then when the thing happened in the sky, they all just kind of like stopped in their tracks. And so you passed several small groupings of people as you were like leaving them. And there's like, you can see a few people like milling about over there and doing different things. So it's like unclear whether or not specific games are open. So if you want to make your way straight over to there, you'll find that one is still open.
Ooh.
Well, there's still somebody there.
Oh.
The gnomish man that you had spoken to before is kind of like, he's on the table now because he's like, appears to be like packing something up. He's like folding up something in like some cloth, and he's got this big, like, I wouldn't call it like a chest, but it's like a box that he's like closing up, and he's like locking it as you start to walk up.
I guess Fergus goes up and be like, "You still open?"
I mean, we haven't taken it down, but we don't have anything left to give you.
What'd you do with all the toys?
It's a whole festival of people. They're gone. The ale's been packed up. Did you not see the explosion? Like the sky blew up.
So? Doesn't mean we can't throw axes anymore. Did the sky didn't take away the axes?
No, it's all right there. I could leave it for you for a while.
If there ain't no toys, then he just like stomps off, just kind of like and just wanders back to, I guess, the group.
I want a toy. I love it. What are you all doing? So the paladin takes off one direction, Fergus takes off the other. What do the three of you do while one is seeking entertainment and one is seeking quests?
I'm gonna address Cookie, I guess. So, back at the well earlier, I just wanted to apologize for being so rash. You're clearly a talented caster, and just, I don't know, my thoughts got away from me, and I just grabbed it out of your hand, that scroll, and then I look at Bear, and I say, I hope there's no hard feelings about that.
Well, I can't speak.
I hope that's a good roar.
The crowd kind of like all collectively jumps back in a circle around the three of you.
Well, I appreciate that very much, nameless man.
I would love to know what Becker's has these sound files named.
That one's called Neutral Bear Growl.
Okay.
Wait, so you didn't even give him like a yes or a no? Like
Neutral.
we're all good or we're still at odds? Just a neutral?
Well, there's no happy bear growl that I could find.
Oh.
So
What a bummer.
Neutral Bear Growl is
The best he's getting.
There we go.
I have a bear snore, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to whip that out.
Really waiting for the opportunity.
Never know. Never know. Maybe
You never
she'll
fucking
get put
know,
to
man.
sleep.
That's hilarious.
I do have a question for you, though.
Okay, well, let's hear
Tell
it.
me your name.
He ain't gonna do that.
You're all right. You really want to know?
I do.
You can call me Morthos. It's my
Morthos.
It's my chosen name.
Well, it's nice to finally know Morthos.
It's too bad Fergus isn't around to hear this because he'd probably
Yeah.
start calling you Morty.
That's good.
I also really wanted to know your name originally, so I'm not around to hear it.
Nope.
Yeah, that's why it's beautiful.
Only one who knows is the person who did not ever ask.
So that was a weird sky explosion.
Right? But it sure was pretty. That guy yelling, though, man.
Yeah, I don't
He seemed a
know.
little nuts.
Would there be enough for somebody to, like, I don't know, detect magic, or in some, if they looked in the sky, would they have an idea of what that was?
Will you tell me? What do you want to use to try to figure out what it is?
I mean,
Oh shit.
You want to see if you like you don't have to tell me what skill you would want to use, but if you're trying to determine the nature of something, then I would like to know how you plan to go about it. So if you want to know if it was magical, you could definitely do an Arcana check. If you want to know,
I
if
smell
this,
the air.
You absolutely can smell the air.
I'm gonna smell the air.
Okay, go ahead and make yourself a perception check with the advantage, I think, because you're a bear.
Yes, I get an advantage of. No, hold on.
yeah.
14.
It smells like humans. There's lots of like humanoids around. It's a festival. There's the ever-present smell of food, and it makes you almost a little bit hungry. And you're always kind of hungry anyway. But it's just like good festival food. The sort of like greasy meats and stuff that are really like you never had before you joined up with I don't know if you were hung out with people before Cookie, but you never had it until you started hanging out with humanoid types. And then it was like, well, this is why I can't go back to the wilderness. Obviously, this is way better.
Didn't we decide she was from a circus before?
Yep, I'm from a circus.
Yeah.
But were you like raised from
Yeah,
a cub in the circus?
Yes.
Oh,
That's
okay,
why,
then never
that's why
mind.
I'm super used to all those explosions and everything.
There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Super chill.
That's why
there.
she didn't freak.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it just smells like humanoids. There's food and people-ish smells.
I don't feel qualified to try and magic it up. I could, yeah. So I don't think my character would go, yep, I know what kind of magic that is.
No, yeah, but if you're like a learned historian, you could make a history check to see if you've heard of something like this happening before. If you are a religious person, you could see if you are aware of any like religious significance to it or anything like that.
I guess there's a level of like, I'm not sure how much I should know, but I guess a history check would tell me if I know it. Mm-hmm. So then, yeah, he's pretty good at history. So I guess I will 7. I don't know shit about shit.
I mean, you've heard all the time about lights in the sky and stuff that wasn't magic, but you also live in a world where the gods literally walk amongst people, and it's not like they appear to them as some sort of like vaguely amorphous, otherworldly being. They literally turn into people-like entities and like walk next to people and fight wars and stuff. So stuff like this has happened all throughout history. Portals to other realms have ripped open and all kinds of weird stuff has happened. So like you look at it, it's not like, whoa, this has never happened in the history of the world before, but it's also like,
Okay. Fergus has now come back from the axe throwing thing and kind of like walks by Matt's character, whose name he still doesn't know, just kind of like scoffs at him. Like Fergus does not like Morthos, if that's not clear, and goes over to Roku and is just like, "Okay, shiny boy, you want to grab a beer?"
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always down for that. But this guy's he's been telling me about this whole something's really important. I still don't even fully understand. He's very complicated, this guy here. He knows a lot, but I think the gist of it is that someone in these nearby forests has this artifact, right? That like we need to get, or something real bad happens.
He like interjects and he was like, it was stolen. That's the part I was getting to. These people came out of the forest and stole it, so we know that it's here somewhere.
Fergus puts his like hand on the guy's shoulder. Did we learn his name?
I don't know if we did.
Okay, then
Yeah, you didn't ask.
Just started rambling.
Guy's shoulder.
Didn't ask, huh?
Yeah, that's fair.
and just goes, "Are you crazy?" And I guess I'll roll an insight to get a feel if
on,
you.
on the person who is telling the story. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
on the person telling the story, because I assume he's going to answer, but then also Fergus is going to decide if his answer means anything to him.
Yeah, roll your insight check.
I'm totally gonna see which one of
Jesus
these words.
Christ.
Insight 4.
I don't.
Burning all
no.
those bad rolls.
He looks at you, and he looks offended. His brow furrows, and his eyes squint a little bit, and he kind of puts his hand like on his side as he leans over, like almost like indignantly, and he's like, "Why would I be crazy?"
He's
He
got a
might
point.
He might not be crazy, but he's certainly a con man. He's trying to lead us into the dark woods at night so we can chase some treasure from armed people.
Are you?
Morthos isn't snuck up behind at this point. Is
Oh,
that
I
what
thought
that is?
Yeah.
we were all back together.
No, I assumed that there's.
Oh, I thought they came back to us. Whoops, my bad.
Well, if you wanted to be with him, then you
Yeah.
could definitely have
Yeah.
trailed him through the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have, though.
Yeah, I think you guys are still
scenario.
standing over because
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking somehow we all
I thought, yeah,
they all
that-
came back.
you
too.
guys came back to us.
That's
we're
fine. We'll just add
separated.
it into the.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, like, so you like feel free to stop me at any point. If you're like, I want to go over there and do whatever they're doing, then you can do that, or we can assume that that's what you did, even if you didn't say it. Like, in retrospect, we wanted to be back as a group at this point, so we're having this conversation all together. Whether that's just because we didn't explicitly say that, you know, when Fergus, like, walked by, you all kind of, like, looked at each other and were like, well, I guess we better follow him, or whatever it was that happened that caused
We got nothing
that.
else to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are with us now?
Sure.
Sure, yeah, we tailed and
Okay.
heard your exchange. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hey! Didn't see you guys sneak up here. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back.
what did Morthos just say then?
Said that he's a con man and he's trying to lead us into the woods at night to steal some treasure from some armed people.
He, like, turns to you where his eyes had been opened, and he was like, squints again. And he looks back to Rokuzin. He's like, I showed you the maps. I showed you the books. Tell him. If you would like to make an insight check, you can.
I trust him. I do. I don't necessarily know how to convince you guys, but I do trust that he's being sincere. I don't know why else he would look this frantic. He must be a really good actor if he's really trying to scam us. I think something might be wrong.
Okay, Teddy, did you tell me what the thing we're taking is?
I don't think he told me. He told me it's well, actually, he said it was basically a meteor.
It's a stone that fell from the sky. He's like
That's
still
a meteor.
standing there, like shaking
Yeah,
his boots.
you're like,
Okay.
And he finally
yeah.
like he reaches down, and when he had been talking to you, Rokuzin, you were like, "So what's in it for me?" was kind of like the part of the conversation you all had gotten to,
Yeah.
and he had like put his hand down, and that's when everybody else walked up, and he pulls out like a coin purse essentially, and he like rattles it, and there's a like metallic clank inside, and he's like,
There you go, Morthos.
"I know how this works. Of course, I'm going to pay you."
and then Morthos sneaks up behind and grabs it and runs into the night.
Oh my god.
And the adventure's
Okay.
over.
Okay, so there's gold in it for us if we want to go at least like check this out. We don't even have to do anything. We just gotta go look. You know, maybe.
Well, if you don't bring it back, I'm not paying you.
Well,
But-
yeah, I'm just saying to them, like if we decide that
We're not
along
talking
the way,
to you right now.
Yeah, get this is the team meeting, okay? So like if on the way we decide that he is trying to scam us, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to deal with it. We can move on, right? But if we do end up finding this stone, then like he's got a bag full of money for us.
Who has the stone?
That's a question to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm asking you because like I have not been.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He
Okay.
said that it's people in the nearby area. So like I don't know how we even start that search, but
How many people are we talking? Is it an army? Is
Here,
it
let's
two?
let's see if he has any more information about these people. All right, team meeting over, break.
No.
So by the way, I don't think I caught your name. What was your name? Good sir.
Oh, are you talking to me again?
Yes, I turned around. Team meeting's over.
Like Teddy turns around.
Yeah.
No, he recognized that you had turned to him.
Oh,
It was more
okay,
like
okay, I
we're not
see how
talking
it
to you right
is.
now, and he's like,
Fergus doesn't really like anybody who thinks they're better than him. So Fergus is going to try and knock him down a peg with probably another shitty roll. 9. It's not a great one. But he kind of growls, hoping to knock him down a peg and be like, "You're not so hot shit."
You're not so hot shit.
And it probably does shit all.
he turns and he looks at you, and he's like, "You got something in your throat?"
He fucking got you.
Okay. Go ahead, Teddy. Or go ahead.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. So what was your name, by the way? I don't think we caught that. My name's
I'm
Rokuzin.
Vilnius.
Vilnius. Nice to meet you. So we're curious. What do you know of the people that supposedly have this stone? Do you know anything about them?
He starts looking around the mess of papers kind of on the ground where he's dropped a few in the books, and he reaches down and he picks up the spine of one and he looks at it and he kind of tosses it to the side and he picks up another one and he looks at the spine of that one and he kind of nods and he drops the first one and he starts flipping through this book. So he's got dog-eared pages and he's got bookmarkers and different things in here, and he starts flipping through them and he gets to a passage where it's he's taken a piece of paper that he's ripped out of something else and he's pressed it into this page, glued it in some way, so that it's here in his book of notes. And it's an account that he reads off to you. It's bullet pointed account though. And so he goes through it and he's they came and they claimed to be trappers in the forest, and they befriended one of the younger disciples. And through this, we believe some sort of charm effect, they were able to obtain, the key, infiltrate, retrieve the artifact, and leave. We know they came from the forest. We don't know whether they were rangers or druids, but they seemed natural, the people that have an affinity for the natural world. They had some magic about them. Or kind of the description. He's it's not they knew who it was that came and took it, but, this is the thing. And anyway, and then he points out there's a symbol drawn off to this side, and it's got it's got hatch marks almost, it looks like it's intended to be if you took a knife and cut paper. So it's lines that have a bit of peeling on the edges and then a couple of circles around them. And there's a note where this is a symbol that was found on an item they left behind, an amulet or something. It's unclear. It said one of their belongings, what it was, but it had the symbol on it. And he goes on to explain, I tracked through the area. I've studied the accounts. I've looked through all the records. This is, I believe, related to a group of, as they said, maybe druids or something, who believed this to have significance for something that they were doing. This is the closest I know, but what I did find, and he flips through another couple of pages, and it just looks like he's either a mastermind or he's that guy in the room with the red threads connected to everything. And he points to another paper where he's got handwritten notes along with a couple of other folded up pieces of paper, and he pulls out what seems to be a crudely drawn map, and he kind of spreads it out. And since you're from this area, you recognize this to be very vaguely topographically similar. There's a oblong circle that's forest, and circle for village or whatever that's really, really vague. He's got lines where you can see he went in one direction and crossed it out. It was incorrect. And he started traipsing through the forest in another direction, and then that's crossed out. And there's 2 or 3 or 4 of those where it looks like he was trying to track down these people based on the symbols and the behaviors that he was starting to point out from these notes. And he's got one final sort of like path that's like drawn out, and then like a circle next to this like really crude drawing of a cave that's literally like two like upside down U's that looks like the opening of a cave, and like a circle around that. And he is explaining like they believe that this is significant to something for them, and it has to be something related to this. And so I was able to trace the magical essence through. I don't know how familiar you are with these things, but anyway, they're this direction.
Seems simple enough. Like, we have a direction, we have a place to go, we have a goal, and we have money at the end of it. So, like, and we have a general description of what the people are kind of like, possibly, that have taken this. So, what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to take this? Actually, before I start saying this, I turn around and be like, give me 1 second. What was the name? Was Vilson, right? Vilsum? Vilnius. Sorry, my bad. I'm bad with names. Be right back. Give us 1 second.
Huh?
And then I turn around, and then guys, everybody in. And we do another huddle. Right?
The adventure's over.
I mean, that's true. Like, I know you're going to turn it into an evil one shot, but hey.
And
So we're in another huddle, and I say, guys. So he gave us a direction. We know where to go. At the end of it, there's money involved. So do we want to go and check this cave out? What do you guys think?
I want to know more about this stone.
Okay.
And if it's dangerous, what he wants to do with it.
Okay.
Is it valuable? Is it more valuable for us to keep the stone rather than give it to him for whatever, he's offering?
That's a good point.
Okay, so you wanted to go get the stone to do this, or you want to ask him about it?
I want to ask him.
Okay. Then.
So we're in a huddle, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the team huddle.
Like,
Okay.
Rokuzin, you should ask about the stone. Like,
wait,
what's he planning on doing with it?
You're not going to ask?
Yeah, I was going to say, you can ask if you want. I can ask if you want me to, but
I mean,
you can ask too.
You're the one that knows him. You've got the
You got history.
All right, what do you guys think? Any other opinions for now?
I'm
Cookie?
cool with learning more information.
Okay. All right. Team huddle over again. Great. Okay.
What about Bear?
Bear, what are your feelings on all of this, Bear?
Bear is gonna turn around, and I'm just gonna like growl at him at Vilnius. I want to do an intimidation because I have really high intimidation. I've been trying to do this the whole time.
Nice.
I've been looking for an opportunity.
See if you can intimidate better than I can.
Yeah, I can intimidate way better. I'm gonna intimidate Vilnius. I'm gonna growl at him.
Okay, make an intimidation check.
Okay, hold on.
Ooh, that was vicious. 12. Yeah, so he's kind of like, he's like got his arms crossed, and he's got all these like books and stuff in his arms, and he's like tapping his foot and like looking a little annoyed at this point. Like kind of like looking around to see if anybody else is taking interest. And like a mild crowd has gathered as he started to tell this story, and people were paying attention. And he just looks like really impatient, and you turn and you do this. Is your intent to like chase him off, or literally just to like make him think twice kind of thing? Like you don't advance on him, or do you? It's totally up to you.
I just want to make him think twice. I don't want him to run away. I just want him to like be straightforward.
Yeah, are you trying to go for the thing that I was trying to do of like maybe knock him down a peg?
Yeah.
Okay. So the minute that the massive bear turns to him and ferociously growls, he does that sort of thing that somebody does where their arms go up and all of their stuff goes flying.
Nice.
So like papers go flying through the air, a book goes up and like opens up, and there's all these pages that obviously have been stuffed with notes, and all of these like folded up pieces of paper go flying out all over the place as he like throws it up the air, and he's like, ah!
Fergus looks at Bear and is like, good animal, and then takes some of his rations that he's got in his bag and like hands some to the bear.
I'm sorry
Happy
about
bear.
that villainous. I don't know why Bear decided to do that. I promise Bear's pretty friendly usually.
You don't know Bear.
Bear does what she
wants. The last few hours at least. Okay, like so far Bear's been pretty friendly. So far Bear's been pretty friendly. Like I'm sorry. We are still interested in this. I hope Bear didn't scare you away. She's really wanted you to know who's really in charge. If Bear really wanted to, she could just jump up and like rip your throat out. But like we're not gonna do that. I'm just saying that's what Bear
tap Rokuzin on the shoulder and say, "Don't say we're interested."
Oh my God, this is
They are to get.
I'm just like, so one of my friends here wants to know. Sorry about Bear. I'm so sorry about all of this. But one of my companions here wants to know more about the stone. Wants to know, like, what is the value of the stone? Why do we need what?
How much can we sell this for?
Why do you need this stone? That's what I'm curious.
What's he gonna do with it?
Yeah. What are you gonna do with this stone?
Well, and he's like gesturing to all his notes out everywhere, and he's like, "There's a ritual. And it's supposed to stop a portal. But it's in this somewhere. It's gotta be done by
So
tomorrow.
sorry about Bear.
Yeah.
It has to be done by tomorrow.
Yeah, that was the herald of the portal.
Okay, this is starting to make sense. Okay. So the constellation lighting up, exploding, that's a sign of this portal coming, saying, like, hey, this is on its way. Okay, I'm starting to get this. All right.
What is the portal?
He's looking around. You ask that question. He's like, it's a prophecy. I don't know what's supposed to come through it.
What if they're friendly?
Yeah.
What if it's just
it could.
Friendly aliens.
Doesn't seem like the friendliest way to approach, but I mean, if you want to stake the entire world's existence on that.
So we all go, hey, this is fine, and then go to the inn and chill out.
Go get a drink and get drunk.
End scene. Great one shot, everyone. Had a great time playing with you.
I still want to fight something though.
But he's telling you this as he's like rifling through the papers on the ground. He reaches for one of the rolled up pieces of paper and he unfurls it, and it's got like, it looks like a map of the full night sky. And he's like holding it up to you, and he points to the region that you're in. This is the map, and I don't know. He points to the region that you're in, and points to like a set of stars. And on this map, there are like really thin lines that sort of like draw the stars together to form the constellations. And it's really dark out here, so if you have dark vision, you can see it just fine. But if you don't, then you're having like a really hard time kind of like seeing what's on this map. But he kind of like holds it up and he points to one, and it's like vaguely in the area that you're in. He's like, "The warrior woman, do you see this star?" And he like points kind of like to the side of one of it. And so if you have dark vision, you can see this. But again, if you don't, then he's just kind of like pointing to a map of the night sky. If you have dark vision, you can see the outline of the warrior woman constellation, and that if you like look at the map and you see the directions and you know the region that you're in, and you look up in the sky, it's kind of hard to like match things to the other. But he starts to explain like which stars are supposed to be where, and he's like pointing at the sky, and he points to kind of like the area where the explosion happened. He's like, "And that one's gone. It's not there anymore. Do you see?"
Okay. Yeah. I see.
Fergus goes to Rokuzin and like, I'm gonna go to this place in the woods, and I'm gonna see if they'll pay us to beat the crap out of this guy, because he's pissing me off.
Why is he pissing you off, Fergus?
This guy thinks he is some hot shit, and he's just trying to order people around. What right does he have? What has he done to make him think he's in charge?
Fergus, is this because you tried to intimidate him and it didn't work? It's okay.
Like, he's just
People
answering
can be
your
more
questions, Fergus.
Yeah,
That's all he's doing.
I'm just what you guys want to. I'm thinking of going and seeing if these guys want me to beat him up, and then we'll see. Do you want to come with or not?
Fergus, I'm probably gonna come with you because I want to get this stone.
Let's go.
No, I'm not going to get them to be for you to beat him up. That's not why I'm going. I just want the stone.
No, I'm like, come on. Oh, come on.
Oh, you're being quiet. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying whispery. I'm just talking loud for the effect.
Yeah. Stage whisper. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he's already just kind of like going like I'm going, and then starts, I guess, heading into the woods. I would assume he just based on him. Oh, actually, no. Fuck, that's a swamp. I'm a natural explorer of a swamp, not a forest. So unless there's some water in that forest, I don't have natural ability there, but.
So the way Ranger works when you have your favorite terrain is you have like advantage on checks, but I think Rangers at some level, maybe not at level 1, but like you ignore difficult terrain and things like that, but you usually have like some kind of proficiency with navigation. I know that you can like feed everyone.
Yeah.
Natural explorer. Let's see.
That's mine.
Familiar.
Yeah, I picked my natural explorer as swampland, so I'd just be able to do chill shit in swampland.
It is all okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I thought that was like a general Ranger thing, but you're usually like you're proficient in survival, so like tracking your way through there and following a map would be a survival check. And go ahead.
Yeah, you want me to roll a survival check just to see if I can figure out where we're headed, just based on what like circle he did
on glancing at the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to, you so when you make a roll like this, like if you're still having a conversation with the other character and you're trying to like describe it, then you could roll like, and they're going to help you, then you would be able to roll with advantage. But if this is just you thinking in your mind of like trying to convince him and like, I know where we're going already, then just make the straight roll.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't want to talk to the guy, the guy with the map, because obviously I'm kind of want to beat him up.
Yeah.
So I'm just seeing if I can.
But
16. That should do it.
Okay. Yeah, you took a look at the map, and he like was holding it up for a while as he was like explaining where you needed to go, like vaguely, like the different paths he took while trying to figure out where these people probably were.
And I might have come in through this forest, so I might have an idea of the layout.
Yeah, or just in general, being the sort of person who like traverses the wilderness, like you're aware of this general area. You probably have your own actual maps. And so when you look at it, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, like, the X number quadrant of the forest. So obviously, blah, blah, blah. You have like a good idea of where you think it would probably be, just like in your mind, being able to like geolocate yourself, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just starting to walk that way. I don't know what they're doing.
Cookie and Bear, could you guys follow Fergus and make sure he doesn't get into too much trouble? We'll be right after. We just got to get a little bit more information about the stone, and then we'll join you guys. But
then
just
you'll
make
relay
sure
it
he
to
doesn't.
us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure Fergus doesn't die.
Bear, what do you think? Should we go with Fergus?
Bear's gonna follow because Fergus like just gave her food like 5 seconds ago.
That's fair.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll tag along with Fergus, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, we'll meet right up. All right.
Break.
Yep.
Hands
All
up.
right. So Morthos, or no, don't know your name. Hooded figure, right? Hooded man, hooded dude, cloaked dude. No, it was cloaked one. That's what you like.
You're just talking.
Shall not be named.
You're talking to me, and I'm the only one there besides the guy you know. So
Yeah. I'm turning around. I'm being like, okay, cloaked one. Is there more? Is there anything else you want to know?
I mean, I want to know what the ceremony entails. Like what happens when we give him the stone, and our only options basically, we don't know, world might end tomorrow if we don't do this for him, or we get paid. Like those are our two options.
Okay. All right. So turn around to Vilnius. I'm like, all right. So he's
like
know.
on the ground, picking back up the piece of paper and trying to like figure out where his notes went, looking just like dejected.
Okay, so Vilnius.
Damn.
It has become abundantly clear that he is definitely some type of scholar.
Some type of nerd.
Type of nerd.
Yeah. Nerd.
Bear's just bullying nerds.
It's a good thing
Bear.
Bear can't talk. Bear would just be a bully.
Yeah, it's very lucky.
Cookie cast speak with animals, and it's like, Bear calls you a nerd.
Damn. All right, so Vilnius, what? I have one more question. I think this is pretty much it. What does, if we bring you back the stone, what does this ceremony involve to stop the portal?
As he goes on the ground, he kind of is like, well, I had a list of ingredients.
Somewhere.
It's. I know I needed chalk, and I needed ruby dust, and marble. I think I have it all. I have little components for different things, but the stone is like a focus, like people who cast magic can use a focus instead of having to take pieces of marble and draw things with chalk. And it's supposed to do that, but because it originated from something like this, the thought is that it's tied to it in some way, and so it's attuned to it, and you can focus through it, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So we basically are not... So our only options are to bring you this stone, because something might come through this portal that could destroy everything, but we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't really know what's going to come through it, but they seemed to think it was really bad.
Okay. But if we bring it to you, we still get paid.
Well, that's what I'm paying you for.
Okay.
So bring it to me.
So Morthos, what more do we need? You know?
I guess just the map.
My name's Vilnius.
All right. Let's... I also still don't know Morthos' name. I'm sorry. All right. So can we have this map? We're going to go...
Of course, take it. Yeah, I'm
right.
not going with you. If I could fight things, I'd just go myself.
All
That's
right.
why I'm paying you to do it.
Thank you for the map. We will be back, and we need this done before when? Tomorrow?
There's like a window of several hours, so it shouldn't take too long to get there.
Okay. All right. Let's do this thing. Thank you. We will be back. All right. So I grab the map, and then we jog off towards Fergus.
Do you jog, Morthos, or do you like? It's up to you.
I just take long strides, but I do not run.
What is that?
Skip.
What is that?
Frolic.
I won't run, but a bitch might just power walk. Like, sorry.
Yeah, I always have at least one toe on the ground at a time.
Yeah,
Just,
that's legal power walking. Both of your feet can't leave the ground at the same time.
So how far ahead of them am I?
How quickly of a pace? Like, how quick of a pace did you take?
Pretty decent. Like, Fergus did not want to be near that man, and the sooner that he can find an excuse to beat him up, the better.
Damn.
The duration of that conversation, you're already kind of like towards the back part of the town anyway, so if you're just making like a beeline for the forest, like you can see the tree line. It's far away, but you could pretty much like cover the distance, just like it's like several hundred feet. So in the course of that conversation, you could easily have covered that distance and be kind of like vaguely like approaching the sort of like tree line.
Okay. That I continue towards the circle place. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think Fergus is waiting for the group. He's just going to the goal of beating this
Cookie
man
is
up.
there with
Yeah,
you,
I guess.
so.
they're like
we're
chasing behind,
following.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume that Fergus is kind of ahead of them, but they're coming up, and then the rest of the
Yeah,
Morthos
maybe
and people.
Cookie is riding on Bear at this time, and Bear is just going at its Bear pace. What do you think, Bear?
It's Bear pace.
I'm ambling.
What's your speed, Bear?
30.
Okay, so yeah, we can both go the same speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can follow it whatever
We keep up,
distance you
yeah.
prefer. Okay, yeah. So you
We're barely behind.
yeah. You get an inspiration point.
For every bear pun you can make, you're inspired.
So the way DM inspiration works, there's a couple different ways that people do it. So I like to give you a choice. You can either re-roll with it. So if you roll terribly and you want to try to roll not terribly, you can just re-roll. We'll forget the first one. Or you can, if that's worse, then you can stick with the other one. Or you can add 1d6 to a roll. So if it's like okay-ish, but you don't want to re-roll it and lose like a mid number, but you still want a higher number, then you can just take the d6 and roll that instead. So Fergus is approaching the tree line. Bear is essentially like right behind, off to the side-ish. And the two of you are, and Cookie, of course, is on Bear. And the two of you are definitely going to have to like...
catch up, yeah.
Yeah. Like, you could probably make it there with power walking, but he's going to have entered the tree line if you don't try to, like, stop him or, like, run to catch up. Not that you have to. You can still just try to follow him. It's not like he's moving quietly, so he might make enough noise you can follow him. It's totally up to you. So what do you want to do?
Just keep an eye on Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad you don't have a bear to help smell for him.
I think follow at a distance where, like, I'm trying to catch up, but I'm not actually that fast or willing to run.
Okay,
That's
fair.
So I'm, like, keeping in line of sight of probably Bear at that point.
I assume what's Rokuzin doing?
Sounded like he was running ahead.
No, I was sticking with you.
Okay, so you're matching his pace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you like, can you go any faster?
What are you doing? Can we?
You need me to
catch up.
We have to catch up with them.
I'm trying.
So yeah, Fergus proceeds into the forest, looking to reach where the circle on the map was.
Okay. Are you going to continue? Are you basically like cutting a straight line in the direction you think that it would be, and just kind of like making your way like quickly? Are you wanting to stop and move more quietly? Like, what's your plan?
I don't think he's going for stealth. He's just trying to get through the forest. To a certain extent, I guess as a ranger, I guess this isn't a space that he's adept at moving, but maybe he'd be a little bit. Hey,
you still have a +4 to survival. Like,
yeah, I would know. Hey, don't step anywhere weird, and maybe he's looking for like the quickest route there. The quickest, easiest route. So if there's like, hey, there's a path that would get me there quicker, he would take that.
Yeah, whatever the easiest. Like whether the path is man-made or a game trail or just like a clear swash of forest, like whatever the path of least resistance is.
Yeah, he's not knocking down trees to get to this place.
Yeah, absolutely. That was more a question about like, are they still going to be able to hear you when you enter the tree line? And the answer is definitely yes. So between Fergus walking with purpose and not taking like care to be quiet, and Bear, you two, it takes like several minutes, and it's almost like uncomfortable, or if you feel so inclined to be discomforted by the fact that they enter the tree line without you, and if they get there first and finish it, then you might not get paid because you didn't really like help or whatever. Then you might feel inclined to be discomforted by like losing line of sight at first. But as you the two of you approach the tree line, it is absolutely easy to follow the trail that they have made, since you know that it's like a bear and a humanoid figure, and there's just like the broken branches and the like big footprints in the soft earth and the like twigs that are like obliterated on the ground from where they were like stomping through. So after a few minutes, it's easy enough for you to like close the gap, walking similarly with purpose.
It's like dark in the forest, right?
Yeah, it's not. This isn't one of those like ancient forest that has a dense canopy that blocks out light, but it's nighttime and you moved away from the torches. So in a world without electricity, moonlight is actually pretty bright and you're in dim conditions, which means if I ask you to make a perception check and you don't have dark vision, you're going to have to do it at disadvantage because it's really difficult for you to see, but it's not like pitch black. I grew up in the country and you can go out into the middle of a field and just by the light of the moon and the stars, you can walk through the field. You might miss the hole in the ground and trip over it, but it's not like you can't tell up from down if you've ever been in a cave. Like gone down into a cave under the ground. When you're in pitch blackness, you actually begin to like lose your sense of gravity after a while. But it's like totally the sort of like moonlit night sort of thing where you can still walk through whether you have dark vision or not. You might just have like a hard time. But you're also following a ranger, and so you could just like follow the path that they make. Who's going to step over the stuff? So, so you are traversing through the woods. The map didn't have a lot of the like geographical features in the area, but being that one of you is familiar with the region, between Fergus's general like understanding of direction, having like an internal compass and being able to navigate the natural world, and Rokuzin's familiarity with the region, you're able to pick a way vaguely like northwest, which is like the direction that you know you need to head. And as you're traversing through, probably like 40 or so minutes passes, and you're all just kind of like trudging through the forest. I don't know if you like stop to make decisions or something like that along the way, or if Fergus is just going, and then like maybe Rokuzin periodically is like, but maybe if we turn around this way, it'll be a little faster, kind of thing, like working together. You, actually, I want everyone to make a perception check. It is not based on smell. It is based on sight.
Okay.
13.
Do we have an advantage with dark vision?
Yeah, just normal, right?
If you have dark vision, you don't make it at disadvantage. If you do not have dark vision, you make it at disadvantage, which means
12.
You click the disadvantage thing on your sheet.
I'm guessing I'm a disadvantage.
Oh, wait.
What are you?
Do I see in the dark? I'm a wood elf.
On the right side, it should say.
No, elves definitely have dark vision.
We do?
Yeah, elves have dark
so it's
vision.
normal?
Yeah.
Just roll normal.
Okay. And what are we doing? Perception? Okay.
I'm a half elf. Do I have any?
Yeah, half elves
Do we
have dark
all have
vision.
dark vision?
Tiefling.
11.
Except the bear.
Yeah, I don't think the bear has dark vision.
So I hit advantage and then click.
And I rolled
perception?
with like
No, you just roll normal.
Normal.
And I still
So my
have
normals.
15.
Okay.
You have the best of
Damn.
us.
I love that. So you bear, actually, interestingly, as you're like looking around, maybe like something smelled good and it piqued your interest because you're getting a little hungry, and you like raise your nose to like sniff around to start to look for something. And through the like break in the canopy of the trees, the moon and starlight that's kind of like streaming in just catches your eye on something illuminated in one of the trees. And trees, they're really good at back scratchers. Sometimes ants that you can eat live on them. But you know how like the branches look, and there's something that doesn't look like a branch, and it's weird.
It's a pseudo-wudo. Catch it.
I'm gonna bear over to it.
Point.
Paw up in the air. I love it.
Oh my god, Bear found something. Look, guys.
Whoa, Bear, what's going on?
Oh yeah,
Then he's
you're
stuck in
riding
a
bear,
well.
right?
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
So Bear's able to draw your attention to there's like it's almost like hard to notice at first because it's made from natural materials, and so being that it's made from like twigs and leaves and things like that, it was something that didn't really like catch your eye at first, even though the rest of you can see the world around you perfectly fine. But now that Bear is pointing it out, there's like something like almost like hanging off one of the branches, but also kind of looks like it's attached to the tree a little bit, that just has a couple of like dangling sticks and almost like a hoop made out of like leaves, like they've been woven together, and there's still some that are sticking out of it.
Like a trap?
No, like it's like a decoration.
Oh.
I'm gonna climb up the tree and grab it.
Is Cookie
Oh my
still
God,
on
look
your
at Bear
back?
go.
No, I'm probably not on her back at this point.
Yeah, just fucking
The bear like
No,
stands
and
I don't care.
Slide off the back.
You never know.
I just yell, Fergus, Bear found something. You should come look.
I guess Fergus stops and looks back at that point, maybe not walking that way, just kind of trying to see what the bear's doing. From
You see a bear climbing a tree.
Yeah, I guess he's not walking over. It's like he's just thinking like the bear is doing bear stuff.
I don't actually have hands, so I'm gonna climb the tree and I'm gonna slap it off the tree.
Okay.
Well, I have hands, I don't have thumbs.
Are you going to try to hit it like really hard? Or are you going to try to like if you were trying to like grab some like fruit out of a tree, kind of like claw at it and like loosen it so that you don't like ruin it or like.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like knock it down so that it falls and I can grab it when I climb back down.
Okay, so you like climb up the tree. I think bears even have a climb speed. You climb up the tree and you kind of like reach over and you're able to, because there's like that round shape to it, you're able to kind of like put your claws up over the top and just kind of like pull down until whatever it is that's causing it to like adhere to the tree or attach, whatever it was, like a rope or something, like seems to snap because you feel like the tension give way and it just falls to the ground.
Can Cookie roll something to see if she might recognize the thing or know what it is?
Go ahead. Actually, yeah, roll an insight for me.
24.
Whoa.
Hey, so
Yeah,
it's green.
I know it real good.
Whoa.
Is that the first natural 20? I think that's the first
I
natural.
think it is. Oh my God. Congrats.
Hey!
I love it. Cookie and Bear, the dream team, finding all the stuff. So you're looking at it and you're like, okay, this doesn't belong here. Obviously, this wasn't part of the tree. Like, what does this come from? What can I, like, what information can I glean from this? Do I recognize it? And you're thinking back to the conversation that occurred with, or the part that you were present for, with Villainous. And when he showed you all the symbol of this organization, it had those, like, swipe marks and the, like, curves on the outside, like it was like a ring, or maybe like just like round like half circles on the outside. And when you look at this, like if you were to make a rough natural looking version of that icon, it's basically the same.
This was that thing that was on the guy's map. So maybe that shows that we're on the right track.
Cool. And then he goes
have we
back to
caught up
walking
to them?
towards
I
where he
think we
thought.
probably are. Yeah.
Yeah. You had all already kind of like grouped together. You've been walking for several minutes at this point.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, guys, look.
No.
Whoa.
Okay, and then I guess Fergus is like cool and keeps walking to where he thinks that we're going.
So she explains to all of you that it looks like a similar symbol.
Okay. Yeah, we should definitely keep this.
Maybe he wasn't completely full of it. Maybe he's onto something.
Yeah. I trust him a little bit more now. For sure.
What about you, big green guy?
I'm walking away. I'm already headed towards, I guess, where the cave.
He doesn't
was
want to
marked.
accept that the guy could be right.
I don't think
the guy
this
intimidated him earlier.
means it's a thing on a map. It doesn't mean anything he said is anything.
Maps are lies.
Yeah, I got a map. It could have lots of things on it.
And as you're walking away, you know, like based on the distance, like if that map was in any way true to scale, like comparing with the maps that you're familiar with and your ability to like gauge time, like the travel over time, you know that within the next like 15 to 20 minutes, as long as you like choose the right paths, you should be like roughly in the region that he indicated some sort of entrance or structure or cave or something was going to be. So you know it's not far away. That doesn't mean anything other than you're pretty close.
Fergus.
Okay, let's keep heading that way.
Yep, let's keep going.
Okay.
I wanted to ask real quick to Rokuzin. He at the end there, he was pointing at the map or at the star chart at the warrior woman and saying she's gone and then pointing at the sky. What do you think that means?
I think he was saying that she was she was heralding this time. She was the messenger in a way, and she came up and said her piece and then disappeared in the sky. If I
So
have that correct,
now
which
that
I
those
probably
stars are gone from the sky, what are we dealing with?
It's one star that was gone.
One star. Oh, I thought it was like
Star
a
at the
constellation. Okay.
The star at the tip of the point of the sword was the one that, the region where this light occurred, this explosion or whatever it was. It centered over that space, and when the light faded, the star that had been there was gone.
I think it means we probably don't have a lot of time left, and we should probably hurry.
All right.
All right, let's keep heading that way into the cave.
All right. So you're easily able to, Fergus, you're kind of making this beeline, and you're confident that you know the region that you're getting to. Anyone else? Are you, as you're following, are you doing anything in particular? Are you moving quietly? Are you watching for symbols? Are you you don't have to be doing anything. You can literally just be following Fergus, trusting that somebody who's familiar with tracking can follow a map. But if you want to be doing something in specific, if you want to eat some of your rations, just let me know.
I'm winded and trying to keep up.
Okay. What'd you say, Bear?
I'm gonna be smelling the air. Looking, in general, looking for food always.
Of course.
Okay.
As Bear does. I think as we start to get closer to the cave, I start to move a little more quietly, start to be a little more careful. I start to keep my eyes out a little bit more, because I feel like there's gonna be some people in here.
Okay.
Just a feeling.
Is the singing I'm hearing in my headphones what Fergus would be hearing?
What's singing?
There's no singing.
No, I'm hearing. Yeah. No, I'm hearing the lady singing in the music too.
Yeah. There's some.
All I hear is rain noises and
that's what I heard.
very ambient.
I heard
music.
a woman singing.
Maybe you did hear something.
Oh shit!
Hard to say. It's quiet in the forest.
Okay, then.
I know. Now I'm
it's a 4D experience. She's playing certain things to certain people to fuck with us.
Oh my god! Could you imagine? That'd be dope.
If you're moving carefully, go ahead and make a stealth check just to see generally how. Or is your intent to be quiet at all? Or is
I'm trying to be
cautious?
just a little, cautious. I'm not sneaking. I'm just being careful.
When I say make a stealth check, if your intent isn't to sneak and be hidden, it's just to make sure that you don't make a bunch of clattery noise, then you can make that. But if you don't want to make one at all, and your intent
I'm curious.
is really...
I'm going for it. 4. Oh god. Oh. That's kind of why I wanted to do it. I'm not the sneakiest of paladins in giant heavy gold armor clanking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're, you've got metal on, and so that your intent to try to be quiet, it's just really hard to do it with the type of armor that you're wearing. You haven't tripped and stumbled and turned into a cacophonous pots and pans rolling down a staircase or anything, but you can hear the creak of your armor, you can hear the clinking of metal bits touching together. So it's you're trying. You could be louder, but you could be more quiet. It's whatever. But I was going to say, if you didn't want to make a stealth check and really your intent is to kind of be cautious and observant, then you could also just be making a perception check if you're trying to keep an eye out, heightened sense of awareness sort of thing.
Okay.
But so you all continue walking for several minutes. You kind of start to you're not falling behind or anything, but you're being really cautious and aware, Rokuzin. And you get to the point, Fergus, where you know that, based on this very general map, you're in the region. It's somewhere here. Some sort of structure, opening, cave, whatever.
Okay, I guess I'm looking for... I think it was a cave or something he had said.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for what he could have indicated. Should I investigate? Or is there something... Or is this just perception to where I would see it?
I think investigation could work too. Investigation or perception. Like if you're taking a cursory look of the area, then it's perception. But if you're investigating, tell me what you investigating the ground. Are you looking for?
I guess I guess I'll just do a perception to see if something looks clear.
Okay.
If I don't see it from then I might have to investigate closer. 17.
This part of the world, this region, is like hellacious. They don't have there are mountain ranges nearby, but there's not one here. This isn't like a forest at the base of a mountain or anything like that. But it's not like completely flat land. You've been going up and down like curves, and you've had to move around a couple of like blunt cliff, like not even like a cliff, but like it's a blunt side of like dirt and rock where it would be like a 20-foot fall if you fell off the top of it, but you're at the ground, so you're having to kind of move around it. So you see like basically this like expansive forest that is really like hellacious and uneven. So you can take a look around, and if you're looking for a cave, then there are a couple of like curves in these sort of like round parts of earth where maybe on the other side of it you don't see anything. On this side there could be something, but are you continuing to trudge as you're like taking a look around, or are you like stopping at this point to like survey the area?
I guess if it looks like I've reached the point on the map where this should be, then I'm just kind of like looking around going like, is this it? Where am I supposed to go from here?
Okay. Yeah, so you pinpoint like, okay, if it's a cave entrance, it's probably one of these two places. If there's going to be something in the ground, and you kind of like look around and you're like, that's going to be kind of hidden. But if that's the thing, then it's not going to be this open dirt. Then there's going to be some sort of like trapdoor in that patch of grass over there because it's kind of high. And you're surveying the situation and kind of like pinpointing like places where you think that like you need to go check out. I want everyone else to make a perception check because you see Fergus ahead of you stop and start taking like a look around.
10.
6.
3. So if I do have an advantage in this, do I roll advantage?
What gives you advantage?
I'm not sure. That's just a check.
Okay. No one has advantage currently.
Okay.
I think no one has disadvantage though because you all have dark vision except for Bear.
Oh, should I have rolled disadvantage?
You already rolled a 3.
I mean, I rolled a 3.
Yeah.
14.
I mean, you could roll a 0 or 1. No, it'd be a 1. No, it'd be a 0. You could, because with a -1, it would be a 0.
Yeah. Okay. So Fergus stops, starts taking a look around. What do we get over here? 10, 6, 3, and 14. And like he's obviously kind of like taking a look around and surveying the situation. And the rest of you kind of like take a glance around, like naturally as anyone would, just to, like you see, you're not like, I'm not making you look for something, but you have eyes and you exist. And so it's Rokuzin, who you're kind of like just survey, like taking in the situation. And in the side of one of these sort of like rises in the earth, it's not like a large hill or anything, but it's uneven. There's almost like this wall of like moss and ivy, and being that you have dark vision, everything's kind of black and whitish right now because you're in low light, but you're still able to recognize like plants, and you can't tell what kind of moss or like growth like that it is, but that and ivy are kind of like growing down the side of this this like hill or whatever. And the way that it's almost like it's organized, like it catches your eye because it's almost like cultivated. It's almost intentional, as opposed to just like there being rocks here that have gathered moisture, and so moss has grown and ivy is a hardy plant and it tends to like hang. As opposed to it looking like it naturally occurred, it almost looks like the moss was like planted or arranged in like a roundish shape, and this ivy is kind of like down the middle, and then it like realize that it's almost like there's groupings of it. It's not like there's literally like patches of ivy hanging in streaks, but you can almost see where there's like mild separation there, and the shape brings to mind this like the like symbol thing that you were shown, and the thing that Bear and Cookie found earlier. And it's just like vaguely takes on that shape.
Okay. And I'll just be like, guys, look at this look at this, like right here, and kind of point to the plants and all that, and be like, doesn't that look like what we saw earlier? And maybe I would hope they at least kind of recognize. I don't know if they do with the perception checks. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's take a closer look around here, see if we can find the entrance to the cave around here.
And Fergus, for record, this is just like the side of a hill, right? Like there's some plant growth there or whatever. Like if you have kind of like a change of heart and this symbol starts to mean something to you, then you can choose to like believe him and go on with it. But to you, it's like it's plants, whatever, maybe. And you have pinpointed other areas that seem like possible entrances based on like your knowledge of the wilderness. So you can choose to believe him absolutely, but you weren't looking for that initially, so that you didn't spot that until he pointed it out.
I believe that the symbol could be right. Like I think that.
Oh, okay.
I think that the guy, like, there are people in the woods or whatever, and like the guy's, a crazy person can know things that are true without being right about things in the sky being portals and blah, 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 blah.
Okay. So you believe him about the people in the woods, just not about the portal.
Yeah, he saw some stuff in the woods coming in town, and he's like, it means things, I see.
Okay, so I misread when they pointed it out earlier and you just turned and walked away. I thought that this was your like not acknowledging that as valid and like assuming that the icon doesn't mean anything. So you would, with that perception roll, you could have noticed that too. But I thought that you weren't thinking that symbol actually meant anything.
Yeah, I see the way Fergus thinks that like maybe that this guy is like some crazy person who has been pestering this group in the woods and thinks that they're bad, and Fergus is gonna go be like, hey, this guy in the guy in town pisses me off. I'll beat him up for you.
Okay, so basically about the same time as you're like, okay, this is the area, and you start to survey things, and like this catches your eye, and it also catches Rokuzan's eye. So if you were going to call it to the group, then basically the two of you would have been like, at the same time. But if you weren't going to call out, then Rokuzan would have,
I think we have different goals here, so I think Fergus kind of wants to get there first because they want to help Crazy Man. Fergus wants to beat up Crazy Man. If Fergus gets to these people first, he can negotiate into beating up Crazy Man before they try and.
Why do you need these people why do you need their permission?
He wants to get paid.
Yeah, he wants them to be like, hey, yeah, we hate Crazy Man too. He wants their permission to realize that.
Why do you need this validation? You can just beat him up if you want.
No, he wants the reward for it.
Yeah, he wants the reward, and he wants to know that he's doing a good thing. Like he does want honor, and so if someone says this is the right action, then it's an honorable thing to beat up this man.
So you are genuinely convinced that these people are going to be like, hey, this guy sucks, beat him up for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that like
I don't know where you would get that, but sure.
I mean, he believes that this guy is a crazy person, and if anybody a crazy person would be like, these guys shouldn't be trusted, is the people you should be trusting.
Okay, sure. Okay, I got you.
So yeah, he's trying to get there and go join their team and be like, yeah, let's get villainous and wedgie him real good.
Sure.
Okay. If you're trying to beat them there, then since you would notice it around the same time, you could be like you could take the initiative to kind of like start walking with your like purpose to try to beat them. Now, if that causes somebody else to like react or break into a run, then we can like roll initiative and see who like runs and gets there first. Right. But like that's totally up to you all.
Yeah. So I'm trying to outpace them. Has been my goal.
I say he's gonna get us killed. Hey, big guy, slow down.
Fergus ignores the person he doesn't like or trust and keeps moving.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Rokuzan, you gotta say something to him.
No, we're catching up to him. It'll be fine. We're going to check over the thing. We're all going
to the same place, so I'm just kind of like, okay.
So you're walking at what looks like the side of a hill. It looks just like dirt with plants growing on it. What's your plan, Fergus? You gonna just like walk through? You gonna like try to like move stuff? What's your you're like, I got to get there first because I want to get this, like I want to get the word in first. So what are you going to do?
I guess can he look for like how it would open? Like how they would get through.
Okay. As you're approaching, go ahead as you're like taking a look around, trying to figure out like what this means or what you could do with it. Make an investigation check for me.
8. That's not great.
Okay.
That's not great.
So you're looking at it and you're like, everything else has been small. This is pretty big. You know, it is kind of like roughly humanoid size. Like maybe it's like a false entrance, or like when I get there, there's going to be like something that indicates like which way to go. Like maybe it's like a hidden message or something like that. But nothing like just jumps out at you. It's not like you look at it and you're like, oh, look at that branch. It looks like a lever. It's just like.
So it looks, I guess, door-ish. Like how thick does it look?
Yeah, it's like.
That's what she said.
Sorry, it was right there.
That was
it had to be done.
Okay. I understand. So, so you know, it almost looks like a curtain of like this ivy stuff. So, like, does it look like a door? Does it look like a structure? No, but like it kind of looks like maybe a curtain or something.
So it looks like something he could just like push his way through.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, then yeah, he just tries to push into it, force his way through. Like he doesn't need to know how to turn the door if he can make his own door.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and you know what? As you're thinking about this, you think back to the experience that you had at this well, where like you just like felt like agile for no reason. You just felt like your muscles. You got a good stretch in that morning, and you just knew that. I don't know, like you just felt more at ease in your body, even more than you ever have before. And so you kind of like, you're approaching this and you're definitely wanting to make sure to get in ahead of them. And so with the intent of forcing your way through something, you like ready your muscles and you kind of tense up and reach for, as you're approaching the side of this like hill. And where you're expecting the resistance of like a door or dirt or a wall or who knows what, your hands just kind of go through. And you are prepped for having weight there. So with that little bit of lean, I want you to go ahead and make a dex save for me.
22.
Nice.
I will take that.
Oh my god.
That is a natural 20.
It is. So what the rest of you see is his like, he's picked up the pace, he's a few feet ahead of you, and it almost looks like he's just gonna like run into the side of this hill and push on it, like inexplicably. And as his hands go to touch it, they just disappear. And the rest of him goes like moving forward.
Oh god.
And as you you see your hands kind of like disappear into the side of this, you recognize it to be an illusion.
And Fergus shouts, "No, I'm dying! Don't follow me!"
Oh my god. Just stand there with mouths open like, oh my
Where
god.
you do stumble inside, and there's a bit of like a drop off there. There's essentially like a rope ladder, like a really crudely made rope ladder that as you start to fall, you kind of like, you like start to fall forward and you almost like stumble backwards to catch your footing. And although you do fall, these rope rungs essentially are there, and you're easily able to kind of like grab onto them. It wouldn't have been a terrible fall, but you know, it looks like it's about 20 feet down, and it would have hurt a lot if you hadn't caught yourself.
So Bear sees him disappear and yell and just runs after him and goes in there to dig in the ground because she thinks that he's like sunk into the ground or whatever, or into the earth. Mm-hmm. So just runs full speed at it and then starts diving at it. So she's going to go through it.
Cookie, are you still on Bear right now?
Probably. I probably got back on Bear, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Beck is excited about this.
He's like, yes, that's what I
I'm
wanted.
taking her down with me.
You are not in riding gear. Bear doesn't have a saddle.
Nope.
So it would be quite easy for you to throw yourself off should you want to, but if you and Bear
No,
are
hold on tight.
buddies, okay.
You trust Bear.
Ride or die.
Yeah, literally.
Ride and die. No, it's ride and die.
So you go charging through. So the two of you watch as Bear takes off into this like ambling big bear sprint. Cookie like grabs onto the fur, yeah, and they go whoosh, running through the side of this wall. And now that you've seen it twice, at first, with the sort of like reaction from Fergus and everything, it was a little unclear what it was that you had just witnessed. But now that you have seen something else pass through it, you all see through the illusion. And I would like Bear and Cookie to make a dex save.
Oh my god.
Dexterity. 6.
Oh god.
Ouch.
12. So you both start to tumble forward. And as you start to tumble, you look down and you see a 20-foot drop, which is a long way and usually is a sort of thing that would result in broken bones. And Fergus, you see Bear charging out over this opening. And it's like, it's interesting, like as you pass through the barrier, what you see and what you two can kind of like vaguely see off in the distance is almost like expertly hollowed out earth that's almost like pretty square in shape to a point. And then like almost like a flat wall, like 7-ish or so feet away from you, like just far enough that most people falling would be able to catch themselves on it. And then for those of you that are actually inside, as you're looking down and you see this sort of drop off, Fergus, you see Bear and Cookie start to tumble out over you and start to fall to the ground. And in, you know, the split sort of seconds it takes for someone to fall, they hit the ground maybe like 5 feet away from where you expected, like the 5 feet away from where you are, basically like almost at your feet, like a couple of feet below where you are like hanging onto this ladder. They make contact with something and then...
So wait, they fell next to me, like I'm on the ladder and they fell down this hole?
Yeah, like you watch them like topple over and you're kind of like holding on, you see them go down and then they just kind of like connect a few feet.
Can I reach out to try and grab them before they like fall?
You gonna catch a bear? You want to catch Cookie?
Like lose an arm. I can try and grab Cookie off. I would assume she's maybe handling it worse.
I'm little.
What would I roll for that? Would that
go ahead and make another? Since you rolled so well, especially you got a really good handle on that rope. Go ahead and just make another dex save to see if you react quickly enough to try to like reach out and grab like a belt or something
7.
that's not just like a collar that gonna slips right through your fingers.
You tried.
But as she slips through your fingers and Bear has like passed by and you're thinking like this could be the end of Bear and Cookie. Where they land is actually just a few feet below where your feet are dangling. It's like 15 feet above where you would expect them to hit the ground. And as they kind of like tumble and hit the ground and like roll like end over end a little bit, you recognize that that was also an illusion. And that's just dirt? Oof. Okay. And so you can still see like the vague outline of what looks like a long fall in the ground, but you now can like look and see the natural earth that's actually there. And it's really kind of like trippy because you're looking at what looks like two different grounds. It's almost like you're seeing like, what are those like 3D cards where you turn it one way and it does one thing and you turn it another way and you kind of see something else. It's kind of like that. But you know where the real ground is. You can just still see this illusion.
Trippy.
So, I mean, at that point, Fergus, I would, I guess, climb down the ladder to where the real ground would be.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 steps.
Yeah.
But you two saw them go tumbling in.
I kind of like slowly, like, and I just go up and like check, like, kind of do the same thing he did, but not as forceful.
We can tell that
slowly
it's right.
push hands.
Well, yeah, now that you've seen 3 individuals go through it, so the way that illusion works in D&D is that you have to either make some sort of check, usually like an investigation check, to recognize that illusion is an illusion, or you have like dispel magic or whatever. You try to see through the illusion, or you try to see something and you recognize something to be an illusion. And if you don't, then once something passes through an illusion, then it becomes clear to pretty much anyone who saw something pass through it that that's not actually
So is it just a hole in the wall then? It's just a cave?
It's like it's been.
It was like covered with leaves kind of covering the entrance before, more so like...
No, there was nothing there. It was all an illusion.
Oh, okay.
It's like
but like that was the
illusion,
was the... Okay.
Was the like symbol
But now
thing.
it's just kind of empty.
But now it just looks like an entrance, yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look naturally made. That's the point, is that it looks like it's been carved out of the dirt, like somebody has dug here. But there's no like support structures. There's no like wooden beams or anything. There's just dirt that looks like almost like it's been pressed.
Okay, so I make my way up and like look over to see if everyone is okay and not dead.
You see like Fergus taking the step down onto the ground, and like Bear and Cookie, like
I hurt.
Yeah, you didn't take any damage, but it didn't feel pleasant for sure.
Oh, okay. So you guys are okay. All right.
I'm gonna grab the rope and make my way down safely with the rope.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, it's like a rope ladder. One of those. Like
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
Yeah, it's like unwieldy, but it's functional.
Fergus reaches down to help Cookie up, and then once she's kind of standing up, he just keeps pressing forward into what he's able to
Fergus,
see.
slow down.
Yeah.
Why are you going so fast?
Quit
Jeez,
running ahead, man.
They just fell over. Like, God, give us a second.
He's kind of ignoring them, keeping proceeding.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
That's
this
fair.
guy's the worst.
He's running head first through all these illusions. He's gonna hit a trap.
And, I mean, at this point, this is the second illusion he would have seen. So the entire time, he's kind of like everything he's looking, he's like second guessing, trying to be like, it's like magic eye it, like.
Gotcha. Yep, I understand.
Yep, sure.
I love it.
Yep,
Okay.
Cookie just looks over to Bear and is like, Bear, we've only been in here for like 2 seconds and I'm ready to leave.
After the sort of like initially like obviously hand carved or something sort of entrance, it does kind of like fade away into something that looks a little bit more naturally occurring. You start to hear like the rush of water off in the distance, where there's probably some sort of like underground like portion of a lake or water source where there's like water movement, and there's that sort of like gurgling sound that accompanies it. And water like that, like if you've ever been near like moderately quick rushing water, it does make like a good bit of noise. So while it's like echoey in here, you don't feel like you're being like obtusely loud, because there's this kind of like general din from the sound of this water. And as you press forward, Fergus, there's like this like almost like moderately damp, kind of like muddy smelling, like petrichor / mud smell of the earth, and it's just like nothing in here but dirt. And you make your way around a couple of like curvy portions of the wall.
Would you say it's swampish?
It's not a swamp.
I mean, there's mud, there's water. Like, what's a swamp, really, when you think about it?
A swamp
What is a swamp
like
other than mud?
adding like decaying things on top of it. Like, so it's the mud and the water, and also the like refuse of vegetation. But are you literally just like making a beeline forward until you see something? Okay.
Yeah.
And you're keeping an eye out. Anyone who is keeping an eye out for anything specific, tell me what it is, and I will tell you what rolls to make. Like if you're looking for like a door or the symbol or something like that. You're looking for people.
I'm looking for traps.
Okay.
I don't have that ability really, but
Anyone can look. It's just an investigation check. So investigation for looking for traps, perception for trying to like discern sounds or sights of
21.
people.
Oh.
I'm gonna smell stuff.
20.
What are you smelling for?
Dope.
The air and the ground.
Another natural 20, by the way, Matt.
Nice. What are you smelling
Thanks.
for? Just to see what you can smell in the air?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make your perception check with advantage.
Wow, we're doing okay.
Yeah, we're killing it.
So many things could have gone so much more quickly for all of you if you hadn't rolled under 10 on everything. I was like, oh my gosh, the DC's only 10. Why is it
12.
just a 9?
I forgot to roll with advantage, so I rolled twice.
Yeah, that's fine. No, you're totally fine. So Fergus is making kind of like a quick place beeline down the hallway to kind of stay ahead of you. As you are watching him kind of like walk ahead of you and you're following along behind Morthos, you see on the ground.
Do I need to be rolling to make sure that like I don't get tripped up by an illusion? Like there was a door, but Because I'm looking for illusions, so should I be rolling to see if I see?
Yeah. Investigation was for illusions. Sorry. Okay. I thought I said that, but I probably started
4.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't see shit.
Yeah. You don't see any illusions.
Real
That's
bad
for
at
sure.
magic eye trick. There's a magic eye thing there, and I'm like, don't see it.
It's not working. Crossing his eyes in front of it.
I love it. So what you see as Fergus is kind of making this beeline ahead, there's just the faintest shimmer on the ground, and it catches your eye, and you see a very thin line, maybe a small piece of wire or something, stretched across the ground. And as you notice it, Fergus is probably he's 3 steps away. It's you have the opportunity to call out and let him know that there's something weird on the ground or not. It's totally up to you, but you notice in enough time to let anyone you would want to inform know, if you so choose. Not compulsory.
Ooh. Can I do my sparkles for him?
Okay. I love it. Yeah, sure.
So, I cast Prestidigitation. Oh God, I can't say
Prestidigitation?
Prestidigitation. Oh my goodness, Prestidigitation.
Yeah.
Too many eyes.
It is a lot.
And I try to shoot them kind of loud, kind of party popper, near the back of his head, kind of, because I'm a little behind him and I don't think I can reach it in front of him necessarily.
Yeah, because it's 10-foot range or something, I think.
Yeah,
right?
and kind of a residual kind of shower effect of it, sizzling. So pops, and then to try to get his attention.
Yeah, I guess if I'm seeing sparkles coming from behind me, I definitely stop and look.
Do you think that the sparkles coming from behind you is enough to overcome your desire to get there first so that you can try to...
I guess I don't know. I wouldn't know that it's coming from Morthos, so I would go what the heck is that? So
okay.
I mean, especially because this is already a tricky situation. I would.
And you knew there was something up. You were watching out for danger. You didn't see anything dangerous, but then all of a sudden something crackles behind you. Yeah, that makes total sense. So you kind of stop short and look around to see the last bit of shower of sparkles fall.
Yeah,
shower of sparks fall.
And I see that it's coming from Morthos, so I'm and then probably turn around too.
There's a trap right in front of you.
and then at that point, if I turn and look, I'll see it, right?
Yeah, he's gestured at it. He's pointed. It's he's essentially explained to you where to look, and you look down on the ground, and you're able to follow this line. It's almost like fishing line. It's so thin and so easy to notice, but like fishing line, those types of materials are built to be strong. And if you follow the glimmer that caught your eye, you look over to see where there's almost a joint pin of similar wire, or this incredibly thin line of something. And you follow that up, and you see a massive log in the roof. And then you see how the tension on the second one is maybe holding that one back. So what it looks like, and both of you, of course, Morthos and Fergus, both of you notice that it almost looks like if you were to walk by this one and put pressure against this line, it would kind of remove this pin from the wall. And in so doing would remove the tension holding back this log or whatever it is. And it looks like it would swing forward and hit you.
All right. So Fergus just kind of steps over it and then keeps going.
Okay. And now you're all aware of it, and everyone, including Bear, can easily step over it and not be mashed in the face.
Not trigger it. Yeah.
Very good job. I was please somebody check for traps. Yes. Nice. So, as you are making your way, of course, before this all happened, some people were paying attention to other things. Bear, you smell bread in the cave. It smells like good bread. It's not sweet, but it smells like it's good bread. Good bread.
Oh, shit.
And
bread's pretty good.
You hear people talking, maybe? Like the faintest bits of conversation just barely echoed over the sound of this water that's kind of like causing just enough of like a mask that you know your footsteps can't be heard. Similarly, anyone else who might be in here, it might be a little difficult to hear, but it's almost like you can pick up on some voices. What languages do you speak?
Oh man, there were a few. It's like Elvish, Common, and they had me pick another one, Celestial.
Okay. So you pick up a few words in Elven and a few words in Celestial. It sounds like people talking about protecting something. Keep it safe. Hide it. Keep it secret, keep it safe. Yes, exactly.
Sorry. Keep it safe.
Everything always comes back to Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And it's like...
And then you see four hobbits
you see this tall, elderly man with a white beard.
We'll exchange looks and go
And 7 dwarves.
They were a company of 13. Sorry.
Anyways.
and my axe.
Oh my god. All right. Okay, so I they sound like they're far enough away that I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just going to be like, guys, I think I hear some people. I'm not sure about it. They're I think I heard something about like protecting something. I don't know. We'll just keep walking. We'll get closer. I think we're going in that direction.
Bear's gonna keep walking.
At this point, I want to start moving stealthily.
Okay.
Ooh,
Go ahead and make a stealth check for me.
fancy boy.
13.
Okay. You feel confident in your ability to move quietly. You don't seem to be
Okay.
making a lot of noise.
Does that mean he is slowed down?
If you move stealthily, you are technically moving at like half speed. If you're if you are really like taking time to like peer around corners and stuff like that. There's like two different ways you can approach stealth in like my opinion. You can either be like literally hidden and trying not to be observed, or you can be the person creeping along behind everyone else who's being super loud. And so like I wouldn't say you have to take half movement to be the person that's trying to remain being unseen and is like hanging back from everyone. Now you definitely are going to be slowed. So
Yeah.
you're gonna start to fall behind.
Okay.
But it will be like over time. It's not like they're immediately just gonna be able to rush away from you because you have to stop and like Pink Panther creep.
About that, I think Fergus like had been looking behind every once in a while to like see how much lead he has on them, and seeing Morthos, who he does not like, slowing down. He's like, "This is my chance," and he picks up his pace. He's like,
"This." You can like make a break for it, basically.
Yeah, this is the edge I need. I can finally ditch these losers.
Okay.
I'm gonna get excited when I see him start to run. Like
He probably smells the bread too.
He smells the bread. You know, he's like, she's excited. She's gonna start running.
Okay. All right. So Fergus, you break into
bear
run.
run.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Bear run.
Yeah, so both me and Bear are running down this hall.
Bear, don't you think we should slow down?
Yeah, is Cookie still on Bear after the fall?
Yeah.
Okay.
She don't want to walk. She hurts.
Okay.
She got back on that
gaining.
horse.
They just took off in a sprint. Do we want to follow?
I would rather be careful and be alive.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's a good plan. I'll stay at the.
Oh wow!
Speed 'em
I
up.
didn't expect that.
Yeah. Can I like stealth too?
Sure.
I
you can
would
check.
fail because I'm
You don't know.
very
You don't
heavy
know.
and I have a lot of armor.
Clink, clink, clink.
Yeah, I mean I can try though.
But we've established that there's kind of like a general din in this area from like being next to like fast moving water in an echoey cave, or
Okay.
like echoey a subterranean structure of some kind.
All right, I'm gonna go for it. 7.
Ooh.
You feel like you're moving pretty stealthily. You can't hear yourself. In
Your
fact,
sword's
the creaks of
clanking.
your armor is like pretty hidden by this water.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Just keeping up pace with.
Yeah,
with us.
exactly. So the other three of you make a break for it. There's a sharp turn to the right up ahead. The ground's not like terribly muddy. You don't think you're gonna like trip or whatever, but Bear is kind of like following along. We're like right on Fergus's like heels basically. So you make this sharp turn to the right. There's another like sharp turn to the left. You see the like wall kind of like opens up and you see where the water is now. It was like literally just around the corner and it is pretty fast moving. If you were to go that way, it would be very difficult to like keep your footing. There's another turn to the left that like loops around a little bit, and you can like as you get out to the middle of this sort of like more open space, you see like the wall kind of like fall away and what looks almost like cut stone off in the distance to the left. Which way do you go?
Which way is the water?
To the right.
Okay. Can I tell if there's illusions happening?
Make an investigation check. You'll have to slow down to make your investigation check.
Yeah.
So, like, take a good look at everything.
Holy moly.
Or
Nope.
not. And he
All
doesn't
looks
take
real.
a good look.
I'm gonna be smelling to figure out which way the bread is.
Okay. Advantage on your perception check.
17.
Bread is definitely to the left. Definitely.
I take a sharp turn to the left.
I guess we're going this way.
Fergus, you slow down for just a minute to like
Poor
stop and look
Cookie.
around and make sure that like nothing crazy is happening, and you get almost pulled over, but not really. Like their intent wasn't to knock you over, but you get like clipped by like Bear making like a like turn to head down the left pathway. There's like
The Tokyo
dirt flies
Drift
up
meme.
a little bit. Yes, exactly. And there's kind of like the slight bump to you, and you as they like kind of like cut behind you and head that direction.
Fergus, not wanting to be left behind because he's trying to get there first, chases after them.
Fair. Bear, are you just gonna follow the scent of bread?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. So there you are running along the soft earth, and the smell of bread, warm, freshly baked bread, is in your nostrils. The dirt falls away, and all of a sudden you're on the sort of stones that humans walk on all the time. And it's kind of cold and it's a little wet, but you're not going to slip or anything, so you're not worried. But it's something changed about this, and it's like, that's a little odd. You can smell the bread ahead of you. There's like a big square room here. To the left. To the left is the bread.
All
Follow
right,
up to the... Go ahead.
I'm gonna go to the left. I'm gonna slow to like a brisk trot because the floor changed, but I'm still definitely going after the bread.
Okay, perfect.
Gotta get that
You round the
bread.
corner.
Remember that?
You gotta get that bread.
Get that bread, dude. That's a fucking meme from a year ago.
It is. Oh my god. Unintentional. This big kind of like square room that is like cold and hard rock. It has like two ways to go, but you know the bread is to the left and there's something blocking the way to the right. So you get to the end of this room and you look over to the left and there's kind of like another room kind of like this one, but smaller, but some of the rocks are in the way. So you kind of have to move around that. And then there's two more ways to go. Bread's definitely this way. Once you get into this second room that's kind of smaller and everyone else is like bringing up the rear, like obviously you're all kind of like, you're all seeing the same things. Go ahead.
When they got to the left or right, were they able to see Bear going, or were they far enough behind that they have to decide?
You guys were like just around a corner. So even if they're moving at half speed, they would get to a point where they could see. So it was like a right turn and then a left turn and then another right turn that's open. So as you're getting ahead of them and they're moving half speed, you get out like to this open area as they like turn around the corner and can see you like ahead of them for sure. And pretty far ahead of them, like maybe 20 or 30 feet. But in the open area, and then Bear does like, you all see Bear drift and head off to the left, like the two of you in behind even too. So you know which general direction they're going. And then once you get past the dirt and it starts to fall away, the like clacking of the claws on the like stone are pretty easy to follow. So even though you're like falling behind, or if you choose to not be stealthy anymore, then you could catch up. But it's not like you're going to get lost at this point anyway. You're pretty confident.
Okay. And keep on stealthing then.
Sweet.
Yeah.
When you get into this kind of like smaller room with the rocks in the way, Bear, you know that the bread is like in this general direction, but now you're also hearing talking. There are more people in here.
Gonna keep trotting towards that bread.
Okay. Keep trotting towards the
Don't
bread.
give a fuck.
Can I see if I can like understand what they're saying, or I don't know, notice any traps or something that could be helpful in this situation.
If you want to look for
do
traps, you
something
can
helpful?
yeah. If you want to look for traps, you can make an investigation check to look for traps. If you want to listen for talking, you can make a perception check to see if you hear people talking.
You're riding bareback.
Oh, God. It never ends.
How did that not happen sooner? Like, how did that just come up?
Beckers, you already have one inspiration. You don't need to.
Oh my god.
It's true. It's true.
I think Cookie will look for traps since there might be people around.
Okay, so go ahead and make an investigation check. As Bear is kind of like slowed to a trot, you're like
7.
looking around ground walls, anything you can see to try to see if there's anything. Looks clear though. You look fine. There's nothing in the way.
We good. All right, go Bear.
You're fine.
All right, we good, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You enter into another kind of like small room similar to this one. It's all very plain. It looks very old. There's that like smell of being in an old place, but really there's bread and it's just past this old smell. There's rocks falling out of the ground or not out of the ground, excuse me, onto the ground, out of the wall. It's like, this is definitely old. People let their things fall apart. You know, the earth just regrows itself, but this is definitely like old people stuff. The smell of bread is becoming really strong. There's one exit out of this room, and it opens up. You can't see the side walls anywhere, so you know the room that you're about to enter is big, and there's like a light, like a faintly glowing light, like maybe like a campfire or something like that you've seen people sit around, but you know the bread's in there. Going in?
To bread!
Okay, so you go trotting in, and you enter into a room. There's the same like cut stone is on the ground on the walls. It looks like it's probably limestone for anyone who is not a bear, because it's a very lightly colored stone. It definitely looks old. There's like broken down crumpled bits. There's moss growing over things. There's like the general like earth reclamation sort of like feel of something that was really, really, really ancient and has just been like left in absolute disrepair. In fact, that river is probably from some like wall collapsing from the pressure of like, or not the pressure of like the water just like wearing away the other side to the point where it got too thin and it washed part of this structure away. In here, there is, like behind you, the wall has collapsed in and dirt has come down along with the rock. And in front of you, it has as well. There's a passageway straight across from you that doesn't appear to have a door. It just looks like it has like a sharp turn to the right. And there are 3 people standing around what looks to be like a hearth almost that's been like crudely built, not crudely, but like fashioned out of broken stones. It looks like it's like functional for sure, but it's not like they cut stone and made it. It looks like they kind of built something up that they could put a fire in to keep it up off the kind of damp earth. And they are like standing together and they were talking and look very surprised as a bear comes kind of like trotting into their room. And you see like a couple of barrels on the ground behind them and a couple of like sacks. And it's like there's like loaves of bread sticking out of the a couple of the like cloth sacks. And it's going to take probably like a good like 6 additional seconds for the 2 in the rear to catch up, because you're about like 1 movement speeds away at this point, because you've been moving at half speed. So you won't see this for just a little bit of time. But you, Bear, Cookie, and Fergus all kind of come like running into the room, basically like on each other's heels. Bear was of course in front at this point.
She just wants the bread.
Yeah. You see like go ahead.
Well, I guess I don't know what she's smelling, but I'm guessing that
see the
she probably
bread,
wants
yeah.
food.
At this point, you probably smell it too, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Well, by the
okay.
time you get to this point, you can smell like, so as you look at this like constructed out of like broken materials, sort of like hearth that they've created, it looks like what they've got is some sort of like open fire, like oven almost. Like it's a functional fire. The room is much warmer in here. The air is a little bit drier. It's more comfortable, but they are able to somehow use this probably because that sort of like scent of like a bakery is like in the air for sure.
Oh, okay.
I think it would be very reasonable for you to yell that out. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, as a baker, you'd probably be able to know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
It's kind of ingenious what they've done, really, be able to like create a functional oven out of this like fallen stone. Like, I don't know, maybe they can like, maybe they're stonemasons or something like that. Who knows?
Yep. I'm gonna walk straight over to the bread and
Okay.
get after it.
So Fergus is in the room with these people.
Yeah. You were right behind Bear. Bear didn't get like a lead on you.
Okay.
Bear just like made the turn more quickly than you did because of that smell of bread and because she rolled way better than you did. So you were like you're like in the like feet behind her. You're like on her heels basically. So you all kind of like come crashing in together. And as you do, actually, like they've got these like cloaks on. They look like they're dressed to keep like warm, and it is kind of like damp and cool in here, so that makes sense. And they look quite surprised as you all kind of crash in. Cookie yells, "She just wants the bread," and one of them like reaches back onto their back for like a staff and like slowly like puts it in their hand and kind of like picks it up off of their back, whatever harness it was in, and holds it, and just quietly looks at you as Bear is rushing at them.
Can I identify their race or what they or was I
Always you with the race.
Wow.
Jesus
was I
Christ.
able to
Why does it matter, man?
Was I able to tell anything about like who they are, or was I able to identify what they were saying?
What languages do you speak?
I speak. Well, I think I speak the language of my enemies. So, human, halfling, orc. Because my favorite enemies are humans and halflings, so I can speak their language. So I can like.
That's why you hated Timora so much. I love it.
And then obviously I speak orc. And
Okay.
So
Obviously.
No.
Nothing
that sounded familiar to you.
Okay, and I don't recognize what they.
They've got these big thick travel cloaks on, and they're not wearing their hoods but they're inside, but they're kind of like heavy, hanging over like their shoulders. They're all humanoids. They don't look like halflings, that's for sure, because they are at least all 5 to 6 feet tall.
But they don't look human either, because I assume I'd be able to identify that.
It's a little difficult to say because there's a light source behind them, which makes them silhouetted. And the way that you can pinpoint an elf from a human is typically either the ears or like fine features that are distinctly elven. And so since they're almost like silhouetted, like you can still see them. It's not like they're just like dark figures. There's like light playing off the sides of like their faces, but there's not enough really between all the like fabric and the dark, like the silhouette, to really tell the difference between like a human or an elf from the like 30 to 40 feet away that you are in like a dim lit area.
Where is the sack of bread, like next to them, or is it?
It's like behind them, like against the wall.
And they've pulled out a weapon, would being the staff.
Yeah, it looks like a wooden staff.
Cookie would definitely be like, we mean you no harm. We're just trying to find this thing.
Does the staff look like a weapon, or does it look like, hey, I'm an old man with a staff?
You wouldn't pot a wizard from his walking stick, would you?
Yeah.
It looks like a wooden staff. It doesn't look incredibly ornate. It could just be a simple quarterstaff. It could be, which can be used as a weapon.
Okay.
It could be just like a walking stick. Like those are kind of similar. And since this one has a very like natural feel to it, it's difficult to say whether one might use this as a weapon or not. But it very easily could be used as a weapon. And as the bear is approaching and Cookie's like, promise we mean you no harm. Go ahead and make a persuasion check for me, Cookie. Okay. As they're kind of like, they're like circling around the hearth, kind of like trying to keep like distance.
Ooh.
Not good.
They don't seem like the tension in their posture reduces any when you say that. And they're just kind of like circling around away from you to see what it is that you're all doing, to see like if you follow them.
And push past them to just go straight at the bread.
Okay. Yeah, no, they're circling away from you. They're not moving to engage you. So there's like the hearth behind them, they're silhouetted, and you're coming towards them, and they're kind of like circling around, like trying to put that fire between the two of you and just like move away. Which also leads to, as you're doing that, and they're kind of like moving away from you. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
In that case, I'm just going to start eating it.
Okay, yeah. So as they kind of like circle around Fergus, you are able to start make out their features more clearly because the light is now in front of them and they're no longer silhouetted, and you're able to distinguish the sort of like finer features of an elven creature. They're probably wood elves, it looks like. Like they don't look like a half elf or like a high elf. They're probably wood elves, like probably all three of them. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to tell, but you're pretty confident. And at this point, Bear is definitely like at the satchel and is able to kind of start like tearing it open and start eating bread.
Yeah, I guess with that information, Fergus looks at Cookie and is like, Elvish bakers? Are they with you?
And that's the point at which the two of you are able to like get up towards the edge of the door, and you see like a flickering light, and you hear Bear tearing something, or you hear cloth sounds ripping and Bear eating, and you hear baking elves. Are they with you?
Where are we in relation to?
We're like at the doorway, right?
Can so they see us yet?
It's unless you choose to look around the side of the door, they would not have line of sight on you.
Okay. Do we want to try and Morthos? Do we want to try?
Are you waiting at the doorway? I'm waiting at the doorway. I'm thinking like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we want to try and get the jump on him?
We should listen and see what's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
We're whispering to each other.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have the element of surprise. That's good.
Yeah. They won't know.
For, I guess...
he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Cookie, do you have a response to my question?
Cookie does not recognize them.
Are you going to say, no, I don't know?
You turn to Fergus and say, Cookie does not recognize them.
All right, Cookie says, no, I have no idea who these people are, but I will try and talk to them. So Cookie asks them, who are you?
Oh, and you speak Elvish, don't you, Cookie?
Yeah, yes.
So as you got closer, it was a little difficult to hear what exactly might be being said, because it sounded like they were switching in and out of Elvish and something else. Do you happen to speak Celestial?
No, just Elvish and Common.
But as you got closer, even over the sound of the water and sound of Bear kind of like plodding through and making like breathing sounds as she was running and stuff, you're able to pick a few words out in Elvish.
Okay.
They were talking about protecting something. So you asked them this, and one of them kind of like, the one with the quarterstaff, you see now they have like long, like silvery white hair, and they have really dark, intensely black eyes, which is kind of unusual for an elf to have just like almost no iris, like all pupil, or just have such deeply dark eyes that like you can't distinguish the difference. Their clothing is like naturally colored greens and browns and things like that. Everything looks like well used but well maintained, which obviously as an elf you would know is like common for people to be able to upkeep their own belongings. You can still recognize that it's not like new or like fresh pressed or anything like that, but like clean and well kempt. And this one kind of like staff in hand looks at you a little curiously. I could ask you the same thing. You came here. We were already here.
Well, I'm Cookie. This is my buddy Fergus. This is Bear. We were sent here to find a stone.
I assume
to stop a thing.
I assume I can't understand anything they're saying.
Are you speaking in Common or in Elvish? You can speak in either language. It's totally up to you.
I'm probably speaking in Elvish because that's what I'm assuming they're speaking.
And they're responding in Elvish.
That's what I heard.
They're responding in Elvish?
When she prompts in Elvish, they're responding in Elvish.
Okay. Then I nudge her and go, Do they know Common?
Oh my god.
Do you guys know the Common tongue?
One of them kind of rolls their eyes and is like, yes. It's just yes, we know how to speak it.
Okay.
He almost looks like he's a little like disgusted, like it's profane almost.
Hearing that they speak Common, Fergus kind of like, these being kind of strangers, he wants to put on a good impression, so he kind of like straightens up a little bit. It kind of tries to be less brutish and be like, I am Prince Fergus Bog from the Kingdom of Faraway. I and these adventurers come in peace. We are seeking to stop a crazy man in the village. What? How can we help you?
So,
Cookie face palms.
For anybody listening, everyone is just face bombed.
Bear face
I didn't
palms.
see anybody else. I just turned away and looked off.
So when you mentioned you were looking for a stone, you saw them kind of like collectively like draw back almost like reflexively and defensively. Mm-hmm. And when Fergus starts talking, like they're obviously like they haven't adopted like a better pose. They're like listening and they're like, it's almost like they're backing into a corner and they're kind of like looking around them. And when he says they want to help with a crazy man, there's one that's off to the side and she kind of steps forward and you see that it's like more feminine. She's got this long brown hair and these really bright green eyes. She's wearing similar clothing. It doesn't look like they're wearing like the same cultish robes, but it's just like similar style, similar fabrics. She steps forward and she says, "You're not here with the wizard?" And the one in front says, "Shh, we can't trust them."
I represent honor and truth and not crazy people. So anyone, if the crazy man is a wizard, that is not who I'm with. I actually want to beat the man up. So if you give me an honorable reason, I'm down to clown.
God.
They like stop and kind of like exchange glances for a second. You see one of them mouth down to clown. One of those things that these people say. And when they say these people, it's like there's like common speakers.
No, that's a nomenclature of faraway. They don't. It's not a well-known phrase.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
God.
Now, Cookie, you're standing right there and you're a bard. If you would like to help in some way, you can. If you don't want to, because you face palmed and you're like, this person's crazy. Like, I don't know why we ended up in a party
Cookie's
with
not
him.
there for the same reasons, so
Yeah.
probably not.
Okay.
For this situation, yeah.
17.
Cookie, against all odds, Fergus says this, and you see them all kind of relax a little bit. Like the shoulders kind of like go down. The grip the one in the front has on this staff kind of like loosens. And they're like, "Why do you see an enemy in the wizard?"
I can sense the intentions of people, and crazy people are quite easy to see their intentions.
All right.
This seems like it's falling apart.
I don't know.
It's amazing that these
like a
people are
crazy
believing
person.
him.
See,
I can't
Yeah.
believe this.
What? He's putting on. It's like you're meeting your significant other's parents. You're just like, I'm not normally this put together. I'm just trying my best.
I hope you don't tell them that.
No.
That's OOC.
Yeah.
Cookie's just shocked and just is kind of letting this happen.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Bear, this
kidding.
bread is so good. It was so good. It was like clearly baked within the last like hour or so. It's just like when Cookie makes stuff like this sometimes. It was like fresh and the crust was like nice and crispy but not too thick. And it was really fluffy. Oh, it was so good. Good bakers. Good bakers. So they kind of like the one in the front like looks back at the other one and leans back and says something really quietly. It's difficult to hear, especially with the like rush of the water and the sort of like backdrop of all this. And they kind of stand up to be out of the sort of like defensive position that they had adopted before. And they kind of like stand more tall and like officially in a way, or just kind of like taking up a normal stance. And they look over at you, Cookie, and they say, "You know about the stone, the crystal." They look back to you, Fergus, and they say, "Did he send you here for it?"
The crazy man spoke of many things. I took no value in his words. I just seeked out someone who might have good merit to see this man punched.
Oh my god.
You would be doing everyone a service if you were to get rid of him. We're going to have to move the artifact now. It's been safe here for centuries. It's very dangerous. Especially now.
At this point, obviously Fergus has been against the team at this point, but Fergus kind of like looks over at Cookie and are like, I think these people need our help, and trying to like coax her to like be on his team in this issue.
How we're all reacting.
Do I have the ability to cast my message cantrip? I don't know if I have the right material or components.
You're sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I assume, I think when you made your character, you should come with a component pouch. I'm not going to keep track of resources. Like, people can use arcane focus to replace resources. Some people get really into that and like go and they get back to town and they buy the spoon and the piece of marble they need to cast Mordecai in his magnificent mansion. I assume if you have learned that spell, you have found the stuff you need for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can cast whatever. Whatever you have on your spell list, you can cast.
Yeah, message to Cookie, because I'm around the corner, hidden still, and ask her to ask them more about the artifact and why they are protecting it and what it can do.
Can I stay hidden?
I mean, I think he's hidden as well.
The message cantrip is a secret message that goes into her head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a whispered.
And he doesn't even have to have line of sight on her. It's just a creature within range. Yeah. And since he's already familiar with her, he can easily do it. You hear Morthos's, you know his name, voice in your head, asking you to ask about the artifact. And you have this sense that, like, nobody else heard it because it definitely didn't come from your ears.
Mm-hmm.
Fergus is still looking at you expectantly, kind of like with a signal that yes, you're with him, or sign that maybe you're still trying to help who he thinks is Crazy Man.
We were sent to get this artifact for a ritual that supposedly will help save things. She's talking to the elvish people.
I think at that point, Fergus kind of takes a like slight step away to be like, if she's throwing in with them, I'm stepping away. I'm not with them.
Gotcha. Okay, so body language, like stepping away, like you're like no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do want to know more about what this artifact is. Could you please tell me more information?
It came from the sky, and the humans took it and performed magics on it. That the bonds, the barriers between planes are thin here. It is easier to access other planes. And for people who wouldn't normally have the ability to travel amongst the planes, they can use it to open portals. It's not a portal, it's more like tearing a hole in a wall. It's difficult to seal those back up. They've done it before, so we took it.
So you're just protecting it?
He already tried to take it once. We lost someone. But he lost 3 of his. He was by himself, so we thought we could get out before he came back. But it seems he tried to send someone else.
What is the name of this wizard?
He didn't give us his name.
What does he look like? Is it the same wizard?
Bear says, did he look like
Did he look like
He looked like a bitch.
Oh my god.
It's difficult to tell with humans. He seemed old. White hair. He kept a clean appearance, but you could tell there was something odd about it when he spoke. We don't know how he found us.
Fergus asks, did you see the sparkles in the sky this evening?
Sparkles? We wouldn't call it a sparkle. This is the night when the event is supposed to happen. I'm sure it did. We were unfortunately unable to witness it, and we're instead making preparations to relocate.
What event?
Do you want to know the significance of it, or do you want me to describe it to you?
The significance.
I saw it happen. I don't know what it was.
What it means.
The old gods. Ours. And they kind of like nod to you, Cookie. Sometimes heralded new ages with such things. We believe Shantea is at work, and that she is bringing new life to things. Shantea would be a very well-known deity. She's like farm and fields and fertility, and very much like would easily be something druids would follow.
Is a portal already open?
No.
Okay, guys. Fergus looks over at Cookie and be like, I think we won.
But a portal is supposed to open, and we need to prevent it from opening because apparently bad things will happen. Is that true? Asking the elvish people.
No. This weakened the already weak barriers, and it would be very easy for someone even so untalented as he to remove the barriers between planes and invite something or travel to them. He seeks it for that reason.
I think I'm obviously already like I'm against crazy person, so anybody who's against crazy person he's for, but he does I'm gonna roll insight to just like see if it sounds good.
This was
13.
the point at which I was going to say, keep in mind that, like, however convincing I might be right now, your characters can still, like, not trust them, can roll insights, can do whatever you want. Yeah. And while with a lot of checks where it's like, roll investigation, I'm like, okay, a couple people can roll, but everyone doesn't get to roll investigation. Insight is a personal thing, so you can all roll if you would like.
I'll roll it.
Okay.
I don't know.
9.
I don't know what they're saying.
I don't.
Yeah. They're speaking in common right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a bear. Sorry.
Hey, maybe she just gets a feeling about them.
Yeah,
like,
they make really good bread. Cookie's good, and Cookie makes good bread. They make good bread. Maybe they're good.
Yeah, Bear. Do you want to see if you?
I have.
Oh, you're just like
I
go
like
Bear
them.
or go bread.
I like them. Like I like Cookie.
Cookies definitely doesn't really know what to do because maybe the guy who sent us there it has bad intentions.
Cookie, you have the instinct to try to discern their intent. You're not familiar with either of these parties. You know, where he seemed kind of like scattered, they seemed calm and put together. But like they're not being twitchy. They are speaking sincerely, but it's hard to say whether or not like what they're saying is true. They don't appear to be shifty, but you know, if someone's a good liar, they're not going to be shifty when they're lying.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's really hard to discern. When you do an inside check, a lot of people say, you can tell they're lying. I think that's silly because that's not how insight works. You pick up on body cues, right? So Fergus, you're looking and you're like, their eyes seem sincere. They're speaking sincerely. They seem to have, they have similar goals to you, which makes you perhaps more inclined to trust them anyway. But everything about them seems to be sincere, and they haven't attacked you, even though you all came and like invaded their home, presumably.
Yeah.
So, it's like everything about them seems very sincere.
Fergus.
Yep.
Fergus looks at Cookie and kind of softly says, Cookie, you and your people are noble, honorable people. I am with these people. I don't want to make an enemy of you. So,
Wow.
Are you with me or not? Do you want to try and persuade? Can I roll a persuasion and see if that?
Sure.
17. Ooh, I'm very persuasive.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's making a convincing argument. Persuasion is not charming. It's not mind control. I mean, you can feel about it however you want to. Persuasion doesn't automatically win people over. But he makes sense. It sounds convincing.
No, she absolutely. She's definitely leaning a little bit more towards the elvish people right now.
I think also like I'm kind of moving so that I'm kind of standing with them when I'm kind of like, especially as I may be moving, I'm kind of, my move away from Cookie when she was like, we're with the wizard, I kind of moved towards them to kind of like, hey, I'm facing away from you, so I'm kind of looking for cues where she's kind of like, hey, I'm also going to be chill now. We're cool.
If you move too close to them, they do kind of like start to move back. But but if you're just kind of generally like circling around, like casually, then they're just going to kind of like be aware of that and acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's more of a like where I'm facing in relation to kind of like where
if
I am.
There's a line
team-wise.
drawn in the sand. I'm on this side.
Yeah, like if people are drawing swords, we know which way I'm facing. Is Cookie? Are you like more relaxed now? Would you say? Because I guess did I persuade you to kind of be chill around them? Okay. Okay. I guess that's where we're sitting.
How's the hallway feeling?
I think this might be about to be D&D Civil War, personally. I don't know though. I'm definitely not persuaded by these elves.
I mean, and I don't think Fergus is even aware that they found their way to him because they're stealthing out at the door. So
yeah, no one knows
even know
we're here.
Yeah, there's like a
Cookie
distinct
knows.
absence of them. You know that you had two other people that were traveling with you, and they don't seem to be in this room, so you don't know what might have happened, but they're not there.
Yeah, Cookie would probably have an idea because she just got a message from him and would probably put two and two together. But
Right.
Would you relay that information to? I guess I don't know where your loyalties are lying right now. So,
I don't know.
Okay.
I think
He's confused.
I think I'd ask Rokuzin like, what is your current? We're both in the hallway whispering. What is your thought?
I still think they're not up to any good. I think they've said a lot of suspicious things about just opening a portal. Or it's not even necessarily a portal. It's a tear in the fabric of the universe that can't really be patched. That doesn't sound good.
So, yeah, and the other guy told us that we need the crystal in order to stop the tear.
Yeah.
And they're saying they need the crystal to make the tear happen.
Yeah, and they seem to think that the tear is going to be good. Here's my question to the TM is that like they said that it was for this goddess, right? And we're supposed to know this goddess. What was the name?
Villainous said that Temple of Selene had found it and had cleansed it and was like using it for like good rituals and like closing things like this, and that it was stolen. They said that the celestial event was related to, they believe, the workings of Shantaea, and that this crystal had been used by the humans to open rifts, that they took it because they were closing them, and it's like difficult to do, and so they've been protecting it. So it's like two very opposing stories.
So both people are saying that they're trying to close the rift, basically.
So the elves are saying this is what opens them, or this is a way that people who are weak with magic can open it.
Yeah.
And Villainous has said, no, it's going to open. This is the only way we can close it.
So I want to float the idea to Rokuzin that we should try to destroy the crystal.
That's not a bad idea at all. I'm in. I like the idea. I don't know how we do it, but I think we should.
But we need to get our hands on it first.
Yeah, for sure.
Fergus asks the elves what they need us to do. Looking kind of like the entire time, not 100% sure if Cookie's on his team, just kind of like looking expectantly, like, what do you need us to do?
Delay the wizard long enough, we can leave.
Do you think he's coming here?
I'm sure he followed you. He didn't exactly know where we were. He would probably not have found this entrance. He didn't find us when he tried to chase us here last time.
At that point, I guess Fergus is kind of like eyeing the entrance, kind of like could he be already here? Is he on his like way, like looking? Can I do a perception? I get that.
Are you looking for villainous?
I'm looking for villainous. I'm guessing I'd probably see the two boys in the hallway if I roll good, but I'm looking for signs of.
They're not in line of sight.
Okay.
So unless they have like peeked their head around the corner. Now, if you wanted to try to like hear them talking, yeah. If you wanted to try to hear them talking, you could do a perception check for that.
I'm more looking. Yeah, I'm looking for signs that the baddie is here or on his way.
Okay.
Maybe listening for like signs.
Yeah,
of
just
him.
like panic reflexively looking around.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Looking
yeah, sure.
like, can I hear him in the hallway? Is he? Is there the sounds of evil?
Has he been here this whole time?
Am I him?
Whoa, that'd be a plot twist. Shit.
17. Ooh, I'm saving my good rolls for when I have to battle Teddy.
Yeah. So you kind of like reflexively look around to like assess a situation, to look for danger. Yeah, as a ranger, you're used to kind of keeping a general like beat on your surroundings. So this is kind of like that eagle eye, taking a look around. The light source is behind you. It's casting shadows this direction. There's no light source coming from over there because you both have dark vision, right? Are you a human? Rokuzin?
No, I'm a half elf.
Half elf, that's what it was. There's no source of light over there. It's difficult. Don't hear anyone talking. You don't hear the sound of footsteps. You kind of like look around. The whole floor is kind of like wet and there's like moss in little bits. So it's not like there's a layer of dust where you can look for footprints for someone who's invisible. You don't remember seeing anyone following you as you all were traveling through the forest. But again, you weren't like necessarily looking. So it's like hard to say. You know that you had two companions who aren't in this room. They could have left. They could have tried to cross the water and been swept away. They could be in the doorway. Who knows? Yeah. But you are absolutely certain that you have listened and not heard, that you have, because they had stopped talking at this point. Oh, yeah. So unfortunately, because I imagine that conversation was that they were having, like, do you trust them was going on while the other conversation was happening. It's not like they let you guys finish and then had a quiet conversation in the hallway when there was no sound to cover it. So giving the benefit of that doubt, I assume that those things were going like on at the same time. And when you stop to listen, everyone, like the ball has kind of dropped and everyone is that like tense moment of quiet, except maybe Bear, who's like munching on whatever other food that is being found. And there is just like tenuous silence.
Fergus pulls out his short sword, knowing that like the bad guy's on his way, like, and could be here. So he's just like kind of ready, like ready to defend, I guess, these new people.
We're going to leave.
When he does that, he kind of is like, might I ask your name if I am to fight for you? Uh-oh.
It's a tradition of not giving one's true name where we come from.
That's not suspicious at all.
It's not. People do that. Yell that from the hallway.
Do you really?
No.
Do you actually yell that from the hallway?
No.
Okay.
Just
In your head, you're just like, so good.
Out of character, because this is probably funny for people who know, but if you don't know, in the Feywild and in places like the Hells and stuff, giving someone your true name could give them power over you.
Mm. Well, and I get that guess at that point. Fergus straight out asks Cookie, "Will you fight with me?" as in not like against me, but with me.
Oh, she doesn't want.
It has crossed my mind, like, if they're just protecting this thing, why didn't they just, and it's so bad, and they're not doing anything with it, then why don't they just destroy it? That actually did come to my mind before you guys brought it up. So that's why I'm like...
Are you going to ask them?
Sure. So, Cookie, is talking to the elves. She's like, so if you guys aren't doing anything with the stone, and it's so dangerous, why not just destroy it?
It is very difficult to destroy items that have been enchanted with a magic essence.
But it's so dangerous. What's the point?
I can't destroy it. I can sense magic about you. Magic is tangible and intangible. And when its essence is infused with mundane items, they become strong, durable beyond any creation should be. It makes it very difficult, and when a material is foreign to you and from another plane or place or realm, and perhaps infused with deific energy, as well as having a potent magical aura, we've tried. We couldn't destroy it, so we tried to protect it. You can make an insight check if you would like.
Sure.
Okay.
Can
17.
I also?
Yeah, sure. Anyone.
15.
So 15, 17. They're speaking softly. They're speaking earnestly. There seems to be sincerity equal to before in their tone. They don't appear to be shifty. In fact, there's a bit of there's one of them that hasn't spoken yet. They look slightly older than the other two. Elves live a long time. It's hard to tell exactly how old they might be. As an elf, that's pretty, you could look at someone and they could be 400, they could be 700, and unless you know them, or they give some sort of cue with some sort of, learned wisdom, it's difficult to say what experiences one might have had. This one looks visually even older than the other two, meaning they are probably very old for an elf. And they look almost, when you're talking about why didn't they destroy it, they look almost defeated when you say that, Cookie. And so, and Fergus too, you're both able to probably perceive this older one. Now you, Rokuzin, don't know that they're older because you haven't looked at any of them yet. You just hear a sincere tone, and you hear earnest speaking and a plea for help. The two of you see this one that looks markedly older look defeated and almost ashamed.
Okay, so these guys are from the Feywilds.
Well, you don't know where they're from.
Is there a thing that I could tell that would make me go, yes?
History?
History?
Well, I'll tell you. Make the roll.
Dirty 20.
Before I give you the conditions and give it away. When they said, where we come from, it is unaccustomed to give someone our true name, and then they were just kind of quiet after that, it occurs to you that powerful druidic magics from elven-esque type creatures could easily be from the Feywild, and it seems reasonable to assume that maybe that's why they know so much about portals and going between planes and things like that. So maybe they are from the Feywild.
I guess I go to Cookie and I'm like, I think these are Fey elves. I don't know what the proper term is, but yeah. and see if that information means anything to her. If that's a cool thing for her.
They're from the Feywild. Maybe they know those other bakers. They don't.
Oh.
Spoilers, they don't.
Yeah. Are we basically kind of at the juncture where Cookie, Fergus, and Bear, well, Bear's food's great. Cookie and Fergus are maybe we should go back to him and leave them alone and maybe try to let them get out of here. And then the two of you are like, nah, these people are lying. We definitely want our money because we want to bring that guy that stone.
All right, here's the thing. Earlier, I straight up did like this because it hurts me to think, but I'm pretty sure Fergus was right about who the villain was the whole time. I hate everything about it. I hate it so much. I don't. Oh, it feels gross, dude. It feels so wrong. But I think he was right.
How do you feel, Morthos?
I still maintain that he was gonna get us killed.
Absolutely. He's still alive only out of sheer luck.
And I still think, maybe we shouldn't, now that they've said the stuff about destroying the crystal, maybe we shouldn't try to destroy it, since it sounds like it's pretty, hard to do, and we're not going to be able to.
Yeah, it sounds like you can try. You probably won't do any better than they did.
You can certainly try.
But my general thought is they don't know we're here yet. We're here, and supposedly the guy from town should be following shortly, so we should probably be... Rokuzin and I should probably try to intercede, that, and, run into him before everybody else does.
So are you believing the elves?
I am.
Yeah, I think we're
all on the elves team.
We're on the crystal could be destroyed, not
You're
used.
on the Fergus team, I believe is what we're calling it. The original team.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm on Team Bear.
Team Bear. We've always been on
Where's
Team
that
Bear.
bread?
That's all I really
Team
want.
bread.
So, we will pick back up next time, right after Rokuzin and Morthos. You turn, making the decision to try and go intercept Villainous. Now that you're on the side of the elves that you have just met. You're creeping your way through the hallways. There's still the din of water in the background. It seems to be muffling your footsteps well enough. And you reach the point of this open room, and Rokuzin, you almost hear additional footsteps that you are sure did not come from the two of you. And as you glance around, you don't see anyone, and you see footsteps in the mud stop as you stop to look around. And you get the sense that whatever's over there is either worried about being noticed or has noticed you. And that's what we'll pick back up next time.
I can't believe Fergus was right.